Okay, here we go. Oh, we better turn that up. My buddy Marcus did that for us.
Yeah, I remember.
You're listening to the Devin Dyer Show.
He worked for you, right?
No, Marcus never worked for me.
Oh, I'm thinking of Jared.
Jared still works for me.
Oh,
Marcus is the guy that does, he did podcasting, and he did a lot of stuff for the Diesel Dave Sparks, like his podcasting stuff.
Oh, okay.
And he lives by me, and he's awesome. And he's the one that actually got me into podcasting. And the only reason I did it was because I was always afraid.
So you did this because it was uncomfortable?
Yeah, I did it because I was super scared, kind of like you're a little nervous right now. So anyways, introduce yourself so I don't screw anything up. And obviously, it's the Mitchell K. Excavating Company. Mm-hmm. See how I got my finger right there?
Yeah.
And see that it's, and see how comfortable that is? It's
yeah,
good,
that's all right. Yeah, it feels good.
Okay, so introduce yourself and tell everybody how you know me, other than the fact that I ran into you on a job, and then we've known each other ever since, and I think we like each other.
I mean, I would assume, but my name's Lance Henderson, and I am one of the owners of the Mitchell K. Company, Excavation.
And why in the world are you doing excavating? Did you not have anything else better to do?
That's the golden question, huh?
Yeah.
That's actually what I ask every other excavator I run into is, why do you do this? Most of them are, it's two things. It's either because they love it, like me, or because they think that they've ran into a gold mine and they're going to learn soon. But that's not the case.
So those are new guys, right?
Yeah.
That have no experience.
Correct.
They haven't grown up with a mom or a dad that was always wondering what to do with themselves. You're feeling a little uncomfortable with that, aren't you, that Mike?
It's fine. We're good.
I should have introduced our sponsor, which is Relight. You were asking me about Relight, and then you were telling me too that you do what all day long?
That I drink a lot of Monster energy drinks and other sorts of it.
So once upon a time, I kept a cooler in the back of my truck, and in the cooler, it was full. Do you ever remember the Monster protein drinks?
Yeah, I do.
So it had Monster protein drinks, and then I would keep that, and then, was it Monster? What's the lemonade ones? Does Monster have, I don't think.
Like Rockstar maybe?
No. It was Rockstar protein drinks. They were awesome. And they had a Rockstar lemonade that was like the healthy version of the unhealthy, whatever. But it was like a rejuvenation or something. But anyways, I used to keep that cooler in the back of my truck, and then I never ate all day long. And whenever I was hungry, I would just get in the back of my truck and I would grab a Monster or a Rockstar protein drink, and then I would down that.
Oh, good.
And I did that one time. I think I stayed awake for about 3 days because I had so much work that we were doing. The other thing too, when you're not talking, you can just put that here so it's all good.
Okay.
But the other thing, then I was not doing very good. Then I went to the hospital because I thought I was gonna die and have a heart attack. And then after I laid in bed for a long time at the hospital, I really did go to the hospital. I was in the restroom and I called my wife and I said, "You need to take me to the hospital." This was like at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Because you were dying?
I was dying. I was having a heart attack. This has nothing. This is just this is how hard I was pushing. So they took me to the hospital, hooked me up to all the things, and did all the testing to see it. I don't think I was having a heart attack because I didn't die, but it was about 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was probably about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I was telling the doctor I wasn't sure what I needed to do, but I had an appointment at 8 o'clock, and they actually said, "Well, you're not leaving yet." So after a while, I just reached in and I pulled the IV out of my hand, and I just told the lady, I said, "I'm leaving," and I pulled the IV out of my hand. And blood just started shooting all over the room from like my thing. And I was so embarrassed. So I told the lady, I said, "I'm so sorry." And then I was like trying to wipe up the blood, but I got a cotton swab and I just put it on my hand. And then I just went to my meeting because I had work to do. But anyways, long story short, I haven't drank like any caffeine or anything for like 3 years.
Wow.
And at nighttime, I go to bed, I close my eyes, I tell my wife, want to see a trick, and I close my eyes and I go to sleep. And then I sleep all night long. Before, I was up till 2 or 3 in the morning because I was so wired. But now
From the caffeine?
From the caffeine. So now I honestly, whenever I just drink water and I do electrolytes, and I'm like flat the whole time. Instead of going up, down, I'm just flat all the time, and it's kind of awesome.
Sounds like I need to incorporate some of that.
But it's not very manly. Like when you tell people I'm drinking salt and hydro to hydrate and a Relight product, they think you're kind of a sissy or something. But you're a lot tougher drinking a Monster or a Red Bull or what's the other one? Rockstar. Or Tug. I don't know why we don't have you a microphone. You should go get a microphone so you can hook up with this. Anyways, that's that. But Relight, we actually went down and went through their mine down in Richfield.
Is that what you guys were doing down there?
Yeah, if you guys,
cool.
If you ever want to go down there with your guys, let us know because we'll go down there. Like it's huge. They have big rock trucks mining in there. It's actually a really, really cool story.
And that's like the salt, I assume, that they're mining there.
So all the road salt that goes in Utah on the roads comes out of Redmond, but they also have a table salt that comes out of there, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I've got some of that at my place. I assume it's probably from there, huh?
Yeah, and the cool thing is they still farm. The guys that own that, it's still privately owned, but they were a bunch of farmers, and supposedly they were about to go broke one time because farming wasn't very good. It's like dirt work.
Mm-hmm.
And then they thought, well, maybe we can start selling salt. So anyways, awesome. It's awesome.
Well, for me, my cooler in the back of my truck that's there right now, it's got a bunch of Monsters in it.
See, that's what you need to get through the day though, huh?
I don't sleep much, and I don't even want to tell you how much caffeine I take a day. It's a lot.
Yeah, so you're probably up and down all day long, right?
Yeah, it's gotten better because a couple of years ago I started lifting weights every morning.
Yeah.
Completely changed my life, but
because you actually started exercising.
Yeah, absolutely. And so every morning, depending on what time, it doesn't matter what time I get to bed, honestly, I feel better going to the gym and getting less sleep than I do catching up on it.
And what time do you usually go to bed at night?
11 to midnight. It's pretty normal.
Is it?
Yeah.
And then what time are you getting up?
About, on average, I'd say 4:45.
Really? So you're getting like 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep?
Yeah, 4 or 5 is about where
and
it
that
lands.
works for you?
I don't know. I just turned 30. We'll see how well it works as time goes on.
So explain to me what got you in dirt work and why you do dirt work. Because I almost feel like a lot of people that are doing dirt work, it's because their dad did dirt work and they don't know what else to do, or maybe they had experience. I like that in the background. That's good, huh?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah,
I was wondering if you planned this out or
no, but see how well it works out. It's like when I go to the grocery store and a parking spot opens up. It's perfect.
Yeah, well, I park as far away from the front of the grocery store as possible
for exercise, right?
And because I don't want to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why I do it. That's why I'm here today, because when I was talking to you about what we were talking about, they said, hey, we should collaborate on something. You said, yeah, come do a podcast. I'm like, oh, that's not what I meant, but. Like, I don't want to do it. That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So
see, it's good for you, though.
That's exactly why.
Because it is scary, huh?
It's just I'm not used to it. I don't know if scary is the right word, but unfamiliar.
You have a face for a camera, though. Like, media, you're really good. You look really pretty. He looks good, huh, Tug?
Thanks. I think it's the lights and everything.
I don't know why we don't have Tug a microphone. So when did you first start doing dirt work?
So I am that one case that you talked about where my dad did it and does it. And so I'm actually 4th generation. So my great grandpa did it as well. And so I grew up obsessed with it. I was the kid, the Tonka toys, and for every one of my dad's jobs, he'd take so I've got 2 older brothers, Nick and Kyler, and he'd take us to work on Saturdays, and we would ride around all of his jobs around, and I'd go home and build the scale models of the job in my dad's backyard and remove this track over there, and I'd that was just I grew up just absolutely obsessed with it.
Did your 2 brothers keep doing it? Did they like it?
Yeah, so they're me and my two brothers and my dad own and run the Mitchell K Company.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're all still together. And then 9 brothers below me.
Yeah.
We all work together.
And do you all get along, or do you fight and get angry with each other?
That's an interesting question. The answer is yes. We get along and we fight and we get angry with each other. But we figured out a good system with it.
Yeah.
We're all basketball players in my family. I didn't play high school ball or anything, but some of my little brothers did. So a lot of summer nights after work, my dad's got a sports court there at his place, and we all go and get our fighting out with.
So you do
basketball.
the hard foul?
Yeah. Yeah. What's a foul?
Yeah. We used to play basketball, I served an LDS mission in Arcadia, California, LA area, and our P day started at 12 o'clock midnight on Sunday. That's not when it should have started, but at 12 o'clock, as soon as the Sabbath was over, we went to the church at 12 o'clock and opened it up. And what was interesting was we actually had like a bunch of gang members that would come play basketball with us. And you learn when you play that kind of basketball, there's no such thing as a foul.
Yeah.
Like you just play, and if somebody fouls you hard, you just keep going.
You can't admit weakness and want the foul, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I'm not that guy anymore. So when I used to play church ball, I didn't have as much energy, so I would just get 5 good hard fouls and then go home, like before the half was even over.
That's my current role. I'm playing in a men's league with my brothers. I go in and use up my fouls and go sit down.
And what position do you play?
I play center.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm the tallest in my family.
Wow.
And I barely cracked 6 foot, but I'm center. So
that's fun. And how's your team doing?
Undefeated this year, strangely. We all played together a couple of years ago and we got wiped all year, but we got it together a little bit this year. So
that's still good. I used to play every night till I just kind of quit, and then I haven't ever done it again.
My dad's in the same place. He just doesn't do it anymore. Because we kind of get hurt. We hurt each other when we play.
Yeah.
There's typically blood or something somewhere. So
that's good. That's the way it should be.
A fist fight or two might have happened before.
So 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when you were working with your dad, what kind of equipment did he have, and what kind of work were you doing?
So when I got old enough to work, it was right at the crash, the 08 crash.
Oh, really?
Where all my childhood was, I wanted to operate, I wanted to work. And so, and I grew up running skid steers and track hose and all of it. We all did, really. But then when we were at that age to go to work, the whole bottom fell out. And they're kind of, my dad did have jobs from, people that trickled through, and we got some experience. But it came time in about 2014, 2015 or so, where we were all like, we wanted to do it. And so at the time you had to have, this is before they changed the laws, you had to have 2 years on payroll. Yeah.
Remember when they actually made you do something to get your license?
Yeah, you couldn't just walk in and get it. And so what we did is I went to work for a different outfit, and we kind of collectively put our heads together, like, we'll go get some experience and come back and start our own thing and just get it kind of going again. And so that's kind of what we did. And I went to work for a guy that's kind of based out of Spanish Fork area, and I worked for him for about 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And eventually my brothers did too, and some of my sisters and a bunch of my friends all came in until there was like, and his whole business was pretty much us, and then my dad worked for him on and off, and but that ended up not working out at the end. He was a little bit of a difficult personality, and then we just went different ways, and we all kind of quit at different times, and my oldest brother Kyler quit first, and he went, and they changed the laws in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So he went and got the Mitchell K Company licensed and going, and him and my dad, and then me and Nick kind of stuck with the guy we were working for, and then just to kind of, because it's kind of tough to just everyone quit and we're all going to go stay busy when we don't have a job on the horizon, So we kind of spaced it out a little bit. It wasn't necessarily intentional at the time, but looking back, it worked out good. Yeah. And so then I quit that guy, and my brother Nick quit that guy, and then we all came together, and several of our guys we had brought on there all came over too, and we just got rolling. Overnight, it felt like.
Well, the fact that you had a whole bunch of guys that were kind of trained and you already knew how they worked together.
Yeah.
I never had that blessing. It was me all by myself, and then I'd find somebody else with one brain cell, and then we worked, and then find one more, and then one more.
Well, and for us, we were advantaged because my dad did have that all, he ran his own thing for 20 years before we did.
At what point did you start having to interact with the customer and the client where you had to make hard decisions or you had to have more responsibility in the jobs or in the projects or making sure that the company was working?
So I actually was in a position like that with the guy I was with before I left.
And that's probably just because of your nature, like how you are.
I was obsessed with it, and everything to me wasn't about how fast I could do it, but how good I could do it.
And what kind of equipment were you running when you did that?
So that guy was all cat. Everything was cat, and that was and everything. He had the whole buy new mentality and approach. And growing up, my dad had a mix of things. He had some cat, some Cabelco, I grew up running a Kawasaki loader. And so I was familiar with a lot of Bobcat skid steer with the foot pedals.
I spent a lot of time running a Terex loader. Have you ever seen those?
I have, yeah. I haven't in a long time. Green or purple?
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, I remember the purple ones. That's right. Yeah, the purple ones. But there was a mix of things, but I was growing up, cat was the big. And so the reason I started working for that guy is because he was working close to our place. Like, that guy's got a lot of nice equipment. I'll go ask him for a job.
So when you started your own, what kind of equipment did you have?
We had some old stuff. So at some point, my parents got divorced, and my mom got a bunch of it, and my dad got there wasn't a bunch of it at that point, but my dad got some of it, and my mom got some of it, and my dad knew to keep the dump truck. As we all know, he took the dump truck, and my mom took some of the worn out Tracos and things like that. And
so he let her think she was winning, and he was like, "Oh no, don't take the Tracos."
Yeah, exactly. And we'll have to talk about that because dump trucks are kind of they kind of set the bar. But yeah, so we got a 320 starting off just because we had that relationship with Cat. But we kind of realized, we're like, man, it takes money to run a company, and we don't have a lot of that. So as we got, a couple months went on and we needed more stuff, we thought it'd be a great idea to go cheap, and we hightailed it up to Atlas and got a whole slew of the 4-letter S word is what I like to call them. But
what year was that?
That would have been 2018.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So 2018, we bought a bunch of cheap Sani Tracos, 3 of them, 3 different sizes, and we still have them today, but they're very much so put out to pasture, I would say.
Do you ever use them, or you need to get rid of them?
That's an interesting question. When do you know it's time to get rid of something?
Well, so my philosophy is, if I have something that sits for a year and I don't use it, it's gone. And I was on a job the other day that we were on. We actually bought an asphalt grinder for some work that we were doing, working in the road. And a lot of times I will buy stuff because, when you need a piece of equipment and you call Cat or somebody and they don't have it available, and you're just completely screwed.
Yep.
So a lot of times, instead of me trying to find something, I will buy it. I'm not saying that's a good plan, but we're like, oh yeah, we're going to have a lot of stuff for this. So we buy this, and then we used it on the 2 jobs. And when I went and looked at it, I'll bet we haven't used that thing for 16 months. And maybe we'll use it on something somewhere, but I made a list and wrote that down. That's something we need to get rid of, because what happens, it starts getting rusty, and then the older it is, the less value it has. So every year that it sits, you're losing like whatever value it has. There's going to be less and less people that buy it.
Yeah. For us, at least with those machines I'm talking about in particular, we still strategically move them somewhere to create the illusion that we're about to get there.
Actually, so those are good. Those are dummy Tracos. Yeah. That's actually I would never sell those if that's what you're keeping them for.
That's what we're using them for.
Yeah,
right
we have
now.
a machine on the job.
Yeah, and they they do still run, but for example, the windshield. I was telling you about this before we started. The windshield's falling out of one of them, and getting parts from Japan or China. I can't remember where they come from. It is an ordeal.
So it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, it just doesn't have a windshield in it, and we use it to train people, and that's the other thing we use that stuff for. Is you want to start running a track? Oh, here you go.
The guy that tipped over your track and dented all that cat. You should have put him in one of those and kept training him. He
was in one of those for a while.
Yeah, not long enough.
That's what's funny. Some personalities it doesn't. He's great, but some personalities that's just a reoccurring thing that you have to revisit every couple of years.
I have a few people that I want to put back in those. I know you've bought some new machines. I was texting my wife to see where she's at to tell her that we're ready for blankets.
I'm doing good, but it is cold.
Tug, dear boy, get us some blankets and get us some Kleenex for our noses that are running here, and we'll keep going along.
We have this false illusion that it's spring in January, Devin, because of our 50-degree days.
Yeah, what is the temperature today? 45? You can get us some Kleenex. I wished we had like something manly, like a red hanky or like a blue one, but some sissy hankies will be fine. And then bring us two of the fluffiest sissy blankets you can find.
The minkies, is that what they call them?
Yeah, if you have some minkies. So at what point did you decide, the one time that I saw you over here working, it looked like you had like a new cat track home. Was that a new cat? It seemed like when I saw that, I thought, oh, wow, these guys just bought a new cat.
That time, that was back here, right? The first time I met you. That time was actually our oldest cat Traco.
Oh, was it really?
We put time and money into keeping our equipment we use a lot.
Yeah.
Looking pretty sharp and new. We don't, the Sannies, they could use some love. We're not gonna fix those ones. But the ones that we use a lot, we found it very worthwhile to keep up on them a little bit.
Well, so you bought a lot of new cat equipment. I've bought a lot of new cat equipment. What's interesting, I was just with my wife and she was going through and showing me how much money we spent last year fixing stuff, and that's actually not ever a good time for me, because when it happens that day, like I'm fired up about it, and then I'm like, get it fixed, and then I don't think about it again. But she was sitting down showing me how much money we would have if we would quit breaking and denting stuff. And we just had another 330 cat that we just replaced the front pan across the bottom of
underneath
the cab.
The windshield there.
Yep. That Traco probably had like 300 hours on it, and the compartment that holds the def. Yeah. So my wife's like, hey, just letting you know, I just paid this $5,000 bill to Cat for these parts. And then she's like, and then I added up, you spent this much money last year at this time, this much on this. And it has been so expensive, and it fires me up. Like it fires me up like nothing else. But I had one of those cats that I had one guy get in it, and the day that he was in it, and he's one of my best guys. Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. See, now we can. This is.
Now we can get serious.
I don't know that these are Minkies, but they're nothing more manly than putting a little blanket on your legs so you can put your hand under it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, tough guys. Don't mess with us. I'll tell you what. If you see our trucks out in the parking lot, I guarantee you there's like a big lift on it and Cat license plate on the front.
Yeah, well, all of our trucks are about to have Cat license plates after our little show here.
My guy that dented the Traco, he's like, you know what? We're just gonna put some Bondo on that, and I'm like, we're absolutely never going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna spend whatever it costs to fix it right. A lot of my stuff, older stuff, is tore up, and when I work and a lot of jobs like you guys do, when you're in Park City and working in tight areas, and there's hardly any room behind the back of the house, and you're squeezing in there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's nothing, and so I'm like, I'm one of the worst guys ever. My one new 330 has a scratch and a dent in it, and it's from me working in a tight area, and I knew it was tight, and I kept turning back and forth, and I thought, oh, this is tight, but I have cameras and stuff, so I was paying real close attention, and then at the end of the day, when I shut it down and I walked around, there's a dent in the bottom side of it and a big scratch, and I'm like, and it was only me that was there working, and so I got out and I walked around the house and I looked at the side of the hill, and there was a big rock right there, and I could see exactly where I'd hit it.
Did it have the paint on the rock and everything? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I knew it was me. So I get it when my guys do stuff, but I'm trying to keep it nice.
Yeah.
And then I look at Bob Dietz, that's back there in New York.
Yeah, I've seen their stuff.
And
like pristine all the time.
So how does he do that?
That's a good question, because like you were saying, you were paying attention, and you know that little half window on these cat tracos.
Yeah.
My habit's to stick my head out there and keep an eye on that side of my counterweight, because for some reason I always scratch the cab side of the counterweight.
It's the same.
I don't know why.
For whoever, it's the same spot, right?
Yeah. But I've wondered, do some people just not have like that cognitive ability to think like, okay, something's there, as you get work and you forget about it, which I've done.
You mean me, right?
No, I'm talking about me too.
Yeah.
But we've got guys that are, it's a reoccurring thing, and they do great with it for a couple of years, then something big happens and it's the same spot on the machine.
Yeah, and for me, it's the same guys.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
And so what I always tell them, I want to take care of our equipment, like especially it's more and more expensive. The thing is that I think about when they damage that is if a little kid is walking between there, or one of your guys did, and you're not aware enough about what's going on with your equipment, the bottom line is you're going to kill somebody. And that I'm more concerned about than the scratch. The scratch fires me up. But to me, it's just you're not aware. Now, the one guy that I'm talking about that I love to death, and he's awesome, his is always right here on the front where he can see everything. And I'm like, oh, I get the back corner, but I don't understand this front part right here.
So how does he do it? Is it like a rock on the track that gets carried under that type of thing? Because that's happened to some of ours before. Or is it...
How does he do it?
Or is it a swing, that front corner kind of hangs off a little bit?
He gets that spot. I think what he does, he's really, really awesome. Like, if you want somebody to dig a square hole and to... when he grades something out, you could plant grass on it. Like, he is the best. And if you need somebody to go clean up a lot or a project, he is the guy that needs to do it. I think what happens is he just kind of gets in a groove, and I think he just starts going, and he's not necessarily looking at that. He's just looking out at all that. And I think from time to time that just gets sacrificed.
Oh, I see. Well, even my guy that tipped that one traco over, it's the same story. He's our best guy.
Yeah.
And when you need something done fast, you send him.
Yeah.
And he's just awesome. He just kills it. And he was on that job, and when he called me, he's like, so I think I tipped the traco over. And I just told him, I said, well, this day was coming, because we're 8 years into it now or so, something like that. That's actually the first machine we've had tipped over. My dad 30 years ago had guys roll loaders end over end down the mountain in Park City, but for us that was the worst we've got. And it wasn't even all the way tipped. It was actually, for what it was fine. So it was all right.
I'll tell you, the guys that always damage my stuff, it's always 2 days after I give them a raise.
This was a very similar situation.
Never fails. As soon as I sit down and I'm like, hey, you're doing such a good job, man, you're awesome, I'm going to give you some more money. And then it takes me about 15 months to get the damage back.
Yeah. So we had an idea, and I don't claim we have a lot of good ideas. I'm not claiming. It was like disclaimer here on your show. I'm not saying we have any idea what we're doing.
Right.
I'm just going to tell you, this is what we do, and we think it works, so we just go with it. But with this guy in particular, and we have a couple situations like this, we actually came to him and said, hey, we want to incentivize you to pay more attention, because he's just great. He does good. And so what we did is we said, we want to give you this amount of money at the end of the year. That's all yours except for what we deduct out of that amount of money on stuff you wreck. And I had told him that about a week before he tipped that track over.
Man.
And that was enough. It wiped it all out. But since then, it's a really good thing. So there's a set amount of money there that's a bonus to him at the end of the year, and damage that he does deducts out of that.
Do you know if that's working yet?
Yes.
It's okay?
Yeah, it's working.
So let me tell you, in all fairness, the guy that did this too, he actually, as soon as my guys do that, they have to call CAT and order parts.
Right.
He actually spent his own money and
Wow.
and did it. And I'm like, I know how much this is, and we can't do that.
Yeah.
And so that's how good of guys they are, that they 100% care, and when it happens, they feel like crap about it.
Well, and he offered that too. And
Yeah.
and I learned this lesson for that former guy I used to work for. I'm not going to use his name or anything, but he was going about trying to clean things up in the company, because I don't know about you guys, but I hate dirty grease guns. My grease gun, I'll have it for 5 years and it still looks brand new.
Yeah.
I'm very, very particular about it. And back when I worked for this other guy, someone used his grease gun, like the boss's grease gun, and put it back dirty. And he texted all of us and said, "Who did this?" You know what I mean? And no one's going to confess to it. So he said, "I'm taking $50 from everybody's paycheck."
Yeah.
And I that really, really rubbed me the wrong way. And so our mindset when you observe behavior like that is that the company's stuff is the company's stuff. And if it gets wrecked by the company, who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Like if it's that, you can't expect these guys to, like you said, $5,000 worth of panels on a 330.
Yeah.
That's a chunk of money.
Yeah.
For us and for your guys.
So the thing with the grease gun too, I get that, because as the owner of the business, I like your idea that you're trying to incentivize him to do better, but I also get that guy where I don't know. I actually don't get that. Like, because we kind of have a policy in our, I don't know, it's not kind of, we do. If you damage equipment and you don't call me, you don't have a job.
I see.
That's just the way it is. Like if you break something and you don't tell me, then you're fired. And then,
well, what do you do with the guys that don't know that they damaged something?
so there are some things where like even me, where I hit the back of that trackhoe, if I would have just got out of the trackhoe and left, and then somebody would have got there the next morning and said who did the trackhoe, or if somebody 5 days later, and let's say one of our truck drivers or something came and loaded something, the reality is on that situation, nobody would have absolutely known.
Right.
So that is fair sometimes, and there is that guy sometimes that doesn't know, and you already know that. Okay, I think a lot of times when you talk to somebody, you can know. But my guys call me, and they send me a picture.
Yeah.
And when I damaged that trackhoe, I sent a picture. We have a group text that everybody has, and I took a picture of that damage, and I said, just so you know, this was me. Now this was like 3 days after another, it might have been the same 330, but my one guy was running it by a gravel pile, and it was brand new, and I went and looked at back of it, and there's just all these scratches in it. And I took a picture of it and I sent it to him, and I said, "Hey, have you seen the back of this trackhoe?" And he just about started crying, like he legitimately cared. So then I just kicked the crap out of him and was a complete jerk. And then 2 days later, I dented the trackhoe and didn't scratch it.
Yeah. So what would you rather have, the scratch or the dent?
The scratch. But I took a picture and I sent it to everybody and just said, "Hey, FYI, this was me."
Well, that's great, because the culture of D. Dyer would be that you're not above the law.
Yeah.
So I think that's
and
awesome.
Do I want to blame it on somebody else?
A little
Yes.
bit.
Yeah. So after you guys got going, what type of work are you guys doing? What type of projects do you mainly do?
So all of growing up, when I was a kid, my dad was into the custom residential. Like he were in Park City exclusively, mostly Park City. And then what I was doing like growing up, the work we did have was some subdivisions and some things like that. And then when I went to work for the new guy, the guy I went to work for, he was all tract housing development and multi-families.
Which was probably good for you to learn a different system.
Yeah, it's benefited me a lot because I know both those sides of it. And so when I quit that guy, the Mitchell K company, we didn't have any work, or very, very little of it. And what actually ended up happening ultimately is that guy I worked for went under almost like within a year.
But was it because all of his good help left, or was it because he didn't have good relationships with his clients?
Both. I would say both. And so all those clients, because I was in that position of that management side of it to some extent, all called me. And so we just absorbed all that work just overnight almost, and it just snowballed from there and just absolutely took off.
And I don't know if you realize this too, though. You probably do, but you probably don't have a big enough ego. But the fact that those clients saw it and had a relationship with you and had confidence in you and knew that you took chaos out of their life, that's what happens. And that's because you pay attention.
Well, it must have been something like that. I don't know. I've never really thought about it other than that they were just familiar with me and we could just pick up and go. And a lot of that work was right there. We're from Eagle Mountain, and a lot of that work was right there in Eagle Mountain. So we're still, to this day, working in the same spot because it's just one of those own lots of land and do a couple subdivisions at a time type of situation.
Here's a question for you, too. So your dad was in excavating.
Correct.
I didn't have anybody to talk to. My dad's done construction. I have people to talk to, but when it comes time for you guys to make decisions, you've got your dad, you've got your brother. Do you guys sit together and say, hey, we need to buy a new piece of equipment. What do we need to buy? And then do you and your brother say, hey, let's do this? And your dad's like, wait, let's back up a little bit. I've had bad experiences doing that. Or how do you guys make those decisions?
So it's evolved over time. From the beginning, when we got going originally, we leaned really heavy on what he knew and his side of things. But it was interesting, though, because so much experience in, that 20, 30 years ago, the game has changed.
In what way do you think?
So for example, the type of work my dad did when I was a kid was all very time and material. There was, hey, we need a budget. A client would call and say, we need a budget for this, and he'd give him a budget. But there wasn't these, when I say it's evolved, these days, in that same line of work, big custom residential, you have to turn in a bid that covers every single thing. No stones left unturned, from utilities to cubic yardages to hammering to what happened. This is how many how many square feet of rock walls the plans say. This is how many square feet of rock walls we see.
Yeah.
And so from the bidding side of it, we had to, which my brother Kyler mostly handles our office end of things, we had to learn. And because...
Was that from bad experience, though?
Oh, it's mostly from inexperience, because though my dad had a good understanding of a lot of it, and we kind of knew what hourly rates and things we should be, when it comes to bidding big, huge jobs and getting on them, and you start figuring out all the things you missed, we went through the school of hard knocks with that, for sure.
The thing that's hard about that, so when you're dealing with contractors, and this is where it takes a while to find some good contractors, but what happens is, let's say you're bidding against me, Kate, and we don't know each other. Mm-hmm. And let's say that you know exactly what you're doing. You have all this awesome experience. You've got the experience of your dad. You've got the experience of your brother. You've got an awesome team with you. When you and I bid a job, say the job like you looked at a job that's up in Alpine. When you and I look at the job, the fact that you have experience and I have less experience, who's going to get that bid? If I'm dealing with a contractor that's just looking at price, it's going to be me with no experience. And every time your price is going to be too high. So how are you dealing with clients when you're in that situation so that they actually understand the difference between you bidding against another guy like me that I don't have any experience, and I'm just throwing a number out there and it's not going to be enough because I actually don't know what I'm doing.
That is also a process that's evolved over time. Because if you were to ask me that question 8 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have said, well, we'll just do what it takes to get the job because we need the work. But as time goes on, and if you're able to, and that's always kind of the thing, right?
It's a fine line.
Yeah. As time goes on, I start every conversation with that client with, hey, we're not cheap. We're not cheap. If you're looking for cheap, we're probably not your
Which who knows
guys.
what that means, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, cheap just means you got a price from somebody that actually doesn't understand the scope of the work.
That's our take on it.
Which is interesting because when somebody said, oh, this guy was cheaper than you, the answer is no, that guy's not cheaper than me. That guy doesn't understand the scope of the project. And you as the client, you don't understand the scope of the project either, that he gave you a 3-line estimate that says dig and backfill and then this and this, and his numbers, like 60% less than you.
Yeah, and so how do you so kind of a question on your question is what you got to figure out is how do you identify that client, and this is almost always a new client, because you learn this with people. Sometimes it takes doing a job for a new client to learn it, but as time's gone on, we can kind of tell right from the beginning how someone is.
It's a gut check,
isn't
it?
It's a gut check, and it's I've noticed certain things about the way they are, and so on top of, I'll get to my question on your question in a minute, but on top of us kind of starting the conversation of the cheap thing, I also tell people we don't do weird, just so you know. We don't do weird, and people always say, what's that supposed to mean? I say, if you don't call me back in a reasonable amount of time, if you don't answer questions on what we need to know for a bid and you're just ghosting us, then we'll just ghost you. Yeah. And we don't do all these months to pay us either. And so that's what we classify as weird.
Yeah. We're not even going to leave our dummy equipment on your job. We're going to take that away too.
Yeah. So that, and then the other thing, because so much time on the custom residential, I think you'll understand this, is a lot of work goes into bidding these things. And if you bid them wrong, you really shoot yourself in the foot.
Well, it can take like easy 3 days to bid a custom, just a house.
It can, yeah.
And people are like, oh no, it doesn't take that long. No, for me to really understand what's going on, it takes some time.
Well, and they don't understand when they say, can I just get a ballpark number?
Yeah.
That also takes time. And you tell them that. They're like, well, I need to look at it. No, like, don't waste a lot of time on it. Just get me a ballpark number. And you know, and then we're over here knowing, like, well, I'll get that to Kyler in the office, but I know that's going to take a day of his time.
Yeah, my new ballpark number is $6 billion. Tug, did my mic just sound like it's sounding better?
It's good now,
yeah. Yeah, it wasn't plugged in all the way. So that'll be fun.
I think it's good.
You're good?
Okay.
So I've had that issue with it's bugged me for so many years that whenever I'm doing work for somebody, they're like, and you're too expensive, and I keep wondering, what does that mean? What does it mean that I'm expensive? Are you telling me, when you tell me I'm expensive, that's actually, I've realized that it's a compliment, because when they tell me I'm expensive, it means I got the right equipment, I've got the right guys, I've got the right price, and I've got everything that I need for the job. If somebody says, oh, you're cheap or low bid, I automatically think, oh crap, what did I mess up on? And for me, that's a check. When I'm low against a bunch of other guys, I automatically go back to my numbers and I'm like, okay, what did I miss?
Yeah, well, and you have to. And the thing is, like I said earlier, I'm not claiming that we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
And going back to the bid things, your bid and my bid aren't going to be the same. And I think through the years, you've probably got the same question by some other new guys just coming into it. Like, how do you bid stuff? And I've actually told people, I don't know. We bid stuff the way we bid stuff. Like, well, I need someone to teach me how to bid. And I said, nobody can teach you how to bid.
I've actually had that experience, and I've had guys that work for me. They're like, I want you to teach me how to bid stuff. And I'm like, I don't know how to teach you. I know how I run my numbers and stuff, and it works for me, but I don't know how to teach you to do what I do.
Do you feel like you couldn't even explain it to somebody if you tried? Because there's stuff you know in your head that you just know that you could never really put to words with the way you you structure
no,
your
I
stuff.
agree with that 100% because if I could do that, I would train 3 guys to do that and have confidence that they could go do it.
Yeah. Well, and that's actually not even my strong suit. So me and the brother just over me, Nick, we're more on we manage clients and we keep an eye on jobs. And then Kyler runs the office. And so Kyler, he's a whiz with I don't question his numbers or things like that. So that's his strength. And that's kind of the benefit in having some partners and some brothers that are in it with you. And so that side of things is his side, but the people thing, when I meet these new clients and I ask them that set of questions, we cut through half the people we don't want to work for just like that.
Yeah.
And it's great.
That's and that's one thing that I've kind of always liked about you is when I talk to you and you tell me things, I'm like, that makes sense. Because when I have people call me, and we've had some people call us recently they're doing stuff, I'm not excited that you're calling me. I'm actually concerned who gave you my number, and I had a guy call me the other day. My wife was riding with me, and we were going down to Spanish Fork, and this guy called me up, and he's like, "Hey, I've got a bunch of work down in Salem I need done," and then he told me what it was, and he'd been texting me, and somebody gave him my number, and I called him up, and I didn't even want to talk to him. I was just so annoyed, which is really, I don't know. I'm kind of getting into being a jerk the older I get, but I was annoyed that somebody was bugging me. But the reason I was is because I've dealt with it so often. So I call the guy up. I say, "Hey, what's the project? What do you got going on? Blah, blah, blah. Why are you calling me, somebody you don't know?" Anyways, it's a project. He hasn't even purchased the property yet. And he tells me, "When can you meet me to look at this, to show me all this stuff?" And I said, "Wait a minute. You haven't even purchased the property yet?" And he says, "No. I want you to come look at the project with me so I can know how much work it's going to cost so I can decide." And I'm thinking, I have got so much going on, and I have stuff that I'm not doing that I need to be doing, and I'm going to go meet with you for what? So I already know. And then when I got done and I hung up, my wife's like, "Oh," and then she just started making fun of me. She's like, "Oh, aren't you Mr. Tough Guy?" And I'm like, "Look, I already know that guy's wasting my time." And she's like, "Well, why don't you just be nice?" I wasn't not nice. I just said, "Look, I'm not going to waste my time to go look at a project. If you buy the project," I actually told him, I said, "Here's what you can do. Send me some pictures, do a video walk around, and tell me what you need, and I'll look at it and I'll tell you." And guess what? He never sent me any pictures. He never sent me a video, nothing.
So you just saved yourself a bunch of time.
Yeah. And back to my point, when people call me, we've done enough work, and we actually are pretty awesome at what we do. Like, we kick trash. We're like you guys. There's not anybody out there that's going to take better care of a project than us. Nobody's going to do it better. So when you call me to do work for you, you're not, and this is easy to do when it's really busy too. When it gets really slow, we all
that's a different conversation.
We all change, and then we're all like, "Oh yeah, we'll come to your $100 sidewalk." But when things are okay, I'm like, "No, we're going to be very selective about who we choose." And even right now, the market's a little bit different than it has been.
Yeah, it is.
But we've had a lot of people come out of the woodwork wanting us to do work for them. And I actually take about 2 or 3 weeks mulling over and thinking about people that call me and if I'm going to do work for them. And I like to check them out. I like to call other people.
Yeah.
And the reality is, when you're starting out, you're kind of desperate, and anybody that'll give you attention, you'll go out with. But after you've done it for a while, you're like, "Okay, I know I'm better to be patient and to sit and wait than I am to go work for this guy."
Yeah, we actually, I call it dating. We're dating a client, and we kind of do the same thing. And I tell people, like, "Hey, because some of it really, Devin, is that I can see, like, some people have told me, like you're kind of off-putting right from the beginning. You're really arrogant."
I kind of want to be, because I want to scare that guy away.
Yeah, so that's the way you're cutting through a bunch of it, right? And I don't think any of us mean to be. Kind of back to what you were saying. I don't think you mean to be, Mr. Tough Guy, like your wife said. But you do, at some point, you're like, "Hey, what do I want to put up with?"
And it wasn't a compliment, just so you know, either. She was kind of putting me down. Like, she was rubbing it in.
Yeah, well, But that's because you do get a little that way, and that's because how many guys like that have called and wasted your time like that in the past month.
And I've learned though too, because I used to always run out and then look at their job. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy wants us to do stuff. And then I'd go look at his job, then I'd put all these numbers together, and then I'd keep waiting and waiting. I'm so excited I got this work, and I call the guy, text him, never hear from him again.
So another thing that we kind of do with meeting new clients, like they're at the beginning, because it's always, hey, my last guy wasn't that great. Because I always ask someone, who do you use? Okay, why aren't you using them? Why are you calling me? Like you're saying, and someone always says, well, you know, this situation. I had one situation once where the guy retired. Yeah. And we still work for these people. Yeah. Because their old guy retired, and that's been one of our best relationships there. But a lot of the times, it's always these clients, we need this number right now. And
why did they do that? What's going on with that?
What's going on with that is they're likely in over their head, is what we've learned. Or in over their head, or they are freaked out because they've got one price that's $1 million and they got one price that's $150,000, and they've got pressure to start the job and they don't know what to do.
Yeah, and they want you to come do the $1 million job for the $100,000. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that I've learned with a lot of those people, especially people I don't know, is they are price checking somebody. Like they already got their guy, but they want me to give them another price. This may not be true, but I feel like it sometimes. And what they're hoping is that my price is cheaper, and they're still going to use their guy, but then they're going to call them and say, hey, these guys looked at it, and this is what we're doing.
Well, and that's true, and I like so what we do is we don't rush the bid. We put it in queue, and we get our prices to the people we're already working for that were in queue before.
1, 2, 3, I've got the stack of stuff, and I'll get to yours when I get to it.
Yeah, and it cuts through a little bit. And some people start calling, where's that number? I'm like, oh, I'll check with Kyler, and I call Kyler. And it's he's like, Lance, I already told you that this is when it's coming. And so I update him, like, yeah, it'll be next.
So that's a good screening process, too.
It is. And Kyler's been smarter with that than I have, because I'm still like the guy, like, hey, I want to, like, this could be a good thing.
You want to take care of them,
right?
Right?
Yeah, because that's just my natural.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
And I have to be careful.
Yeah, because you run faster than.
Well, I need to work, and I'm hungry. With all I say about the confidence in telling people I don't need your work, we need work. You know what I mean?
Know. I told someone that last week. I said, just so you know, I don't need this job.
Yeah.
And then 2 jobs fell through later on that week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, crap, I think I need that job.
Well, what's interesting, too, talking about people that you don't know, H was up working on a job up by Park City the other day, and it's the one that they're hammering all that stuff out. And there was a kid pulled up in like a BMW, 30-year-old guy, really expensive car, and another guy in a Raptor truck, which I don't know that matters, but maybe it matters. So anyways, they get out, and H is running the 330 hammering. We got our other track code digging stuff out. They come up to him, and the only thing they wanted to know is how much are your machines an hour? And they said, we're helping develop this. We've got a lot of people doing work. We just want to know what your prices are. They did not ask him, who are you? We don't have our name on any of our equipment. They didn't say, who are you guys? Who do you guys work for? Do you have any references? How long have you guys been in business? Are you licensed, insured? Do you guys know what you're doing? The only thing they wanted to know was how much do you guys charge to do hammering, and how much are you an hour on a track call? That was the only information they needed.
$6 billion an hour, baby.
Yep, $6 billion an hour.
Yep.
So H called me, and I'm like, well, it would be a different situation if they said, hey, we've got a lot of work, and we're looking for a good excavator, a good subcontractor to team up with us. My question a lot of times that I ask people is, especially a new person, is I say, what don't you like about the guy that's working for you?
Yeah.
And then I be quiet. And if the first thing they tell me is he's too expensive, I always say, well, expensive excavators, those are the good ones.
Yeah.
And so if you tell me you can't get a good excavator, it's usually because you're just not willing to pay what it costs. Same for other subs.
Well, it's really tough to communicate to clients because they don't understand our end of it. But as excavators, for us, for you and me, when we pull up to a job, we've got more out there than anybody else does as far as liability goes. We're not pulling up the job with a trailer full of tools and and some tool bags and things like that.
So on one job right now that you're on, how much money is sitting on the job?
We've got jobs with $2 million worth of equipment sitting on it.
Yeah, $2 million worth of equipment. And are you going to make $2 million off that job?
No, I'm going to make a sandwich off that job,
and,
Devin.
and the reality too is the jobs that you've got $2 million of equipment, how much long-term liability is there? For the next 10 to 15 to 20 years, how much liability are you actually taking on with that project that you're doing? When you dig that house and that house settles and you get sued and you were only $10,000 to dig and backfill and do everything, how much money is it going to cost you? $100,000, $200,000, $300,000?
At least.
Yeah. It makes no sense, huh?
Yeah, and so, but you kind of can't. I have a theory why it's hard for them to understand that. That's because a lot of people's way of starting their excavation business is coming in with an old beat up machine and being way cheaper than everyone else.
Yeah.
And it kind of, in my opinion, it kind of messes with the market of what it really should be.
I would agree with that.
To have a good living. And because if you factor in risk and liability for reward, all of us excavators are crazy. We're crazy.
We're dumb
people.
as can be.
Yeah.
And
we are.
That's what I try to tell people when they talk to me. They're like, well, how much are you charging for this? You don't realize your price can't be based, like even to your point that your dad and them used to do stuff hourly. Doing stuff hourly does not cover any liability at all.
Nope.
When things go south, you're screwed. We had a job that we did, a tiny little job down the road here, and it's for a really awesome contractor, and it was like a $4,500 job. And this is typical in the work that we do.
Yep.
$4,500 job. They had to tear out some sidewalk and prep some other sidewalk. So it was a break-even job for us, but we're taking care of the client because they're awesome. My guy, when he's pulling the sidewalk out, the irrigation line is right underneath the sidewalk. So when he pulls the sidewalk out and he scrapes across the road base, and he might have been trimming the road base, he tears the line in half. So and
it was the worst case scenario. He didn't just tear it. It probably pulled way out. Huh?
No, it broke it in half.
Oh, okay.
No. It broke completely in half. So the meter's out here, and he tore it in half between the meter and the road. So water's just spraying out, spray. So they have to go to the city. They have to shut off all the water. So then the city, we're like, well, can we just couple it back together?
They say no.
No. So we went and did a road tapped the line. It cost us $7,500 for the $4,500 job.
Yeah.
So we spent the $4,500 and $7,500 doing excavating. It's the best.
It's we've got it really. I don't know if you knew this or not, but we're really smart with this stuff.
Yeah,
so.
It's awesome.
We've got it figured out.
So now let's talk about how you decide what equipment that you're buying. How do you decide? I know you talked to me the other day. I think you listened to my podcast back when I was doing more podcasts.
Yeah.
And like you've talked to me about the gold, silver client type thing. Mm-hmm. It's always interesting when you call me. I'm like, oh, he's listened to that, which right, you're like the one out of the 5 people in my dad and 2 sisters or something. But
that's actually not true, just so you know.
Well, it might be. Who knows?
Well, I need to interrupt you to tell it because it's a good time to tell the story. I had a buddy that was getting into some dirt work about 2 years ago, or so, and he's a concrete guy, and I like him. His name's Levi, and he calls me. He says, "Hey, I really want to, like, I'm passionate about this dirt work thing. We have this opportunity to do it. Like, can you come meet me up here, and can you come show me some things?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." Because I'm not that type of person. It's like, oh, turn my nose up at competition. Yeah. I don't care.
To me, it's you're the competition.
Yep. And
the guy in the mirror.
Exactly. And so one of the first things I told him, I went and met him up there, and I said, "Want to know what you need to do that would benefit you almost more than anything?" He said, "What's that?" I'm like, "There's this podcast that this guy I know, Devin Dyer, does. You need to start listening to his podcasts." And this same guy, that my buddy Levi, he says to me the other day, "Why doesn't Devin ever put out any more podcasts?" He's like, "Those podcasts helped me more than anything." And now they're rolling with dirt work at this point, a couple of years later. So just so you're aware, that stuff goes further than you think.
Well, I do appreciate that because honestly, one of the reasons that I don't do this very often, I like doing it. Like for me, it's like a vacation to be able to sit down and actually talk to somebody. But I always think, who am I to tell anybody anything, right? I can tell you what not to do. I can tell you how to be dumb and screw things up. But a lot of times that's what I always think is, who am I to be telling you anything?
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
But that's probably why you are the right person to tell people.
But here's what I do like is we've had this conversation, but we used to buy a brand new Traco every single year. Mm-hmm. So I would buy a brand new 210 John Deere Traco. The reason I bought the 210 John Deere Traco was because I could transport it behind my dump truck.
Yep.
That was the whole reason.
Easy to move and it worked, right?
Yep, easy to move and it works. So then Ryan with Rock Structures had the 250 Traco, and I'm like, what does Ryan know that I don't know? Mm-hmm. And so I talked to him one time. He's like, man, you got to get a 250 Traco, blah, blah, blah. They're amazing. So we actually bought 4 250 Tracos. They were
much of a difference, huh?
They were life-changing, like so awesome. We had 2 160 John Deeres. We had like 160 with the thumb on it. We had one that
160 is like a 30,000-pound machine or so, right?
Could be. Again, I don't know how these numbers work.
You
with
and
this
me
stuff.
are kind of like that.
I don't know. I dug dirt and whatever, and we had like a 135 John Deere or Hitachi. I don't know what it was, but I'm like, yeah, I got to be able to make sure that I'm mobile and I can move these things around. So the 250s are kind of the pain in the butt to move because they're a little bit too heavy.
But you can do it, right?
Yeah, like if we're working on a job, and it's a block down the road, we can load it on our trailer, take it down there.
On your tilt deck trailer behind your dump truck, correct? Okay.
I don't know why we decided to get a 330, but we were doing a job one time. Well,
I am curious about that too, because when I first met you and I was in that cat Traco, you weren't a cat guy at the time, not as much.
No,
because we talked about it.
But I've told you too.
Yeah.
So here, what's funny? I actually had a guy call me yesterday and ask me, "Why are you running cats? I thought you liked John Deere," and he's like, "Why are you running cat?" So, here's the reason we're running cat. So, we have 3 cat skid steers. We have Kubota skid steer, but not anymore. I've given those away. We have cat smaller machines. I have Kubota Mini X's, which they're fine and I love them. Mm-hmm. And then I've had Daewoo Tracos and John Deere. Now, this is a reverse pride thing. The reason, couple things. One of the things I didn't like about cat was it was always way more money than John Deere and everything else.
That's still true.
Way too much money. The other thing is there's all these cat fanboys that have cat license plates on the front of their trucks.
That's where I need to tell my part of the story. Because a couple weeks ago when I asked you this, I'm like, I've been kind of chuckling about your pivot to cat, Devin, because and I asked Devin, I've just got to share this with you guys, why don't you like cat? He says, because there's this whole rhetoric in my mind about these cat fanboys and their big white lifted trucks and their cat license plates on the front of them, and as we're talking,
and their hat says cat,
and they've got stickers on their head. Do I have a sticker on my hat?
You do have a sticker on your hat.
So if the shoe fits, but as Devin's telling me that, I was walking past the front of my truck,
and what did I specifically say?
Remind me, you said there's cat license plates on them, so this is what I brought for Devin today.
Yep. Yeah, I guarantee you that's not going on my truck.
But I'm going to sneak one on there. He's not going to know where it came from. But I sent him that picture of my truck while he's telling me that. I said, hey, Devin, check your phone. Because all of our trucks have cat license plates on them.
So have you ran Sandy and you ran cat?
Yeah.
So it's so dumb. So we have Volvo loaders. We have cat loader. I have Ingersoll Rand compactors like smooth drum, cat smooth drum compactors. So here's what switched me over to cat. I loved John Deere for a long time. I still, when we get in our John Deere Tracos, they're so smooth. And H told me the other day he actually put the 66-inch bucket on our 250, and he's like, holy cow, this thing is awesome.
The 66-inch cat bucket off your 330.
Yeah, because the bucket on the John Deere, they were digging in the rock, they tore a shank off. But what has got me in trouble, and so this is funny, and I should have a podcast with Jared, but we one time we had a lot of walk behind compactors, and then I had one that was broke down, and I needed to borrow one. Have I ever told this story? Have you heard this one?
No, you said broken down and walk behinds, and
Well,
I just know what you're talking about.
So my son-in-law came and was working for me, and this brand new compactor that probably didn't even have 10 hours on it, Jim Brown let me loan it, and he knows we're a sucker. Anyways, my son-in-law tipped the compactor over in a puddle of water, and it sucked water in it. And so we unhooked everything and ran the crank to get the water out, and it ran just fine. But I called Jim and I said, just so you know, we tipped over this compactor and filled the engine up with water. What do you think? And he's like, I think you guys probably need to buy that. So I said, no worries. So we bought it. Another time, he let us borrow a skid steer, like one of our bigger skid steers, and me and Jared were prepping a parking lot, and I was running the compactor, and I was compacting along the edge, and I was just going forward and then going back. And then I'm going back, and all of a sudden I feel boom, and I look behind me, and that skid steer that Jim had let us use is right behind me, and I get out, and the side of the cab has got a dent in it. So I called Jim, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, we're buying this machine too. And
so Jim just knows if he can get you in it for a minute, you're going to do something to it, and he's got to sell.
Jim Brown does whatever he can to get a cat piece of equipment on our job because he knows we're going to damage it. And he knows that once we damage it, that we're just going to buy it. But the new 330s are game changing. The 2D grade control on them is over the top. And those 330s, I don't know how your bigger machine is, but they're so smooth. And when we got the other one, we had a job that we took on for a client, and it was going to be a parade home. And they started kind of late. And so I just called Jim. I always call Jim and I say, just so you know, I'm not buying any equipment. So this conversation is not buying something. But if you could find us this machine, we could sure use it. And then he calls me 2 days later and he says, hey, where do you want that piece of equipment? That's why we have a plethora of Caterpillar equipment. And that's also why I don't know that we'll ever buy anything else. It's not necessarily cat specific, but now we do love cat.
Yeah.
But it's more our salesman.
He's incredible. We have the same salesman.
Yeah.
I've looked before. Jim Brown doesn't have social media because he'd be a celebrity.
Yeah.
So he's just great and very rare. Even when he says I can't find that piece of equipment, we're going to be a couple months. Sure enough, a couple days later, I'm getting a call like I found you one. Like, where do you want it?
And honestly, when he does it, we just buy it because he takes such good care of us. And it's always game changing. And that might have happened with the. You know what? Here's what I think might have happened with that 330. I think I might have actually been looking for Cat's equivalent of the 250.
Which would be like a 326, I think.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's exactly what happened. And he screws me every time with that. Because I'm like, hey, I need that. And he's like, oh, I don't have that. He always has something a little bigger and a little more expensive.
That's kind of funny, huh? Yeah. That is always just laying around out in the yard, huh?
So those are awesome. And then you decided after that you were going to get a bigger machine. Also, we do transport them, and it cost me about $1,200 to transport because it's always going a long ways. But I make that money up like that just because of the speed and the efficiency and a big bucket.
Yeah, we've kind of talked about that. So watching you with the 250 John Deeres and then the 330s. So all of growing up, we were 210.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was 210s, and 320s. And I when I was little tiny, my dad up to a 330 for a while for bigger stuff.
Yeah.
But the thinking that I had up until I changed it was and we collectively, the Mitchell K company, we've kind of changed altogether. Was kind of watching you with that. I'm like, gosh, Devin's killing these jobs now. Like he's got these big machines there, and they're murdering it. Because we used to be that person that's like, the moving them was a big deal.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, it is a much bigger deal to move anything bigger than a 320, 210 size
liability,
machine.
permits, everything else.
Yeah, and then just because you're not on a tilt deck anymore is the
Yeah.
other thing. You're an RGN, your tires in the road. I mean, they do make those the slide axle trailers.
Yeah, you're not just backing it up to the curb over the sidewalk
Nope.
and dumping it off.
Nope, you're getting a couple guys there and tires and whatever you're doing to get these things unloaded. So that's we shied away from it for that very reason. Then you think, well, the 320s and the 210s work, and we all know it works, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we've always done. But
And the payment's a lot less.
the payment, that's the difference. But so I start talking to Devin about, tell me about your why are you doing the 330 thing? And Devin said a bunch of stuff to me that where I didn't know what I didn't know, and I started thinking about it, and it was always the payment thing. Because what I think at 320, we always start off with an RPO, by the way.
Yeah.
We rent it for like 6 months on this bigger stuff, and then if we're keeping it busy and it's great, we've bought almost everything we've ever rented. So
Which I think is wise.
but an RPO for a 320 is like $8,500,
Yeah.
or something like that. And if you finance it, it's quite a bit less.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, I'm going to, and we did a 330 for a big chunk of last year. And I just started thinking, like, well, what's the next biggest size? Like, I like this 330 a lot. What about a 340?
But the 330 was game changing.
Oh, yeah. It was great. Yeah, we had it on a subdivision. And that same builder we do the track houses for, I tracked up the road and backfill. That's when I used your compaction wheel.
Yeah.
And I was reaching what felt like another 10 feet.
Yeah. That is the other thing with that 330.
Yeah. So
Over a 210.
Yeah. So it reaches much, much further than the 320s that we're used to, and we've got some 325s and stuff like that. And so I we just started thinking about it, and then we started looking at the numbers, and it's not a 330 isn't twice as expensive as a 320. And in fact, the 340 that we have isn't even twice as expensive. It's not 2 320s. It's actually less.
Yeah.
So when we got thinking that way, when we started realizing what we didn't know, it changed things for us, probably like it did for you, where these bigger machines, though harder to move and get places, they make up for it in the long run big time.
In like 2 days.
Yeah.
So what's interesting, and I haven't looked lately, but to me, the 330, the payment on it's like $2,000 more a month.
Then a 320.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I don't know how close that is. So, oh my gosh, it's $2,000 more a month. Oh my gosh, that's $24,000 a year. So in 10 years, that's $240,000. Do you know how quick you make that money back with the 330? Even the $2,000 a month, the reality is the $2,000 extra dollars a month, in one day, that 330 is going to get that money back to you, where that 210, a 210 takes you 3 or 4 days to do the work, and the 330 will do it, like just knock the crud out of it.
Yeah, make it not make sense. That's what I like
Yeah.
to say. Make it not make sense, because I'm not a super analytical type of person.
Yeah.
Like, these numbers are off the top of my head, and if you were to tell me or ask me, hey, well, give me the efficiencies of them and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have that information, but I'll tell you what I do know is that though they're more difficult to move, and to your point, that extra 2,000, and this 340 we have is quite a bit more than 2,000 a month, but more than
Yeah, it's
than
probably a
320.
lot more than that.
Yeah, but what I do know is that it moves a lot more dirt, and it throws it way further, and it does it way faster, and that's what I do know.
And if your business is like everybody else's, probably your most expensive expense is payroll. So why wouldn't you put a guy that's making 100,000, 120, whatever he makes a year, if that number is locked in, okay, I can't change that number because I got to take really good care of that guy. How can I make that guy make me more money? Well, the reality is, if you've got that awesome guy, that guy can't ever make you any more money if you're putting him in a machine that's only producing the same amount of dirt. So the only way that awesome, efficient operator is going to make you more money, you have got to put him in a bigger, more efficient machine, and then you're going to make a lot more money off that. But sometimes we just can't get out of our heads to do that. And if you're a mathematician, maybe you could run the numbers and show that. But I know that when we put those 2 330s on a big, like 30-foot deep sports court dig, everybody that drives by stops and says, "Holy crap, you guys just started that on Monday, and it's Friday and you're done." And I've dug enough of those with the 210 Traco to know that that's about a 6-week dig.
Yes, because a couple of years ago, you probably, like us, would have had a 210 there. Just one, probably, and maybe a loader helping it.
Probably a skid steer moving dirt or something down. Because the skid steer payment was probably $800 a month.
Yeah, and you can move it with your pickup.
And a loader was like $4,000 a month. So I'll be dinged if I'm going to have a $4,000 a month machine.
Yeah. But once you get exposed to it, there is no going back. There really isn't. And we're especially crazy, and we did the low boy and everything to move it because I don't know why we want more liability. I don't know what's wrong with us.
We still pay somebody tens of thousands of dollars a year to move our stuff, but it's just because I don't want a low boy.
Yeah.
You guys, it's working out well because you got a side dump too. Mm-hmm. But for me, right now we're good.
Yeah, and I don't know how to tell, because I've had a lot of people DM me on Instagram and ask, like, what do you think of the side dump? Like, I'm wondering, do you think it works for me?
I still wonder that because we always debate because we want to get more done in a day.
It's the same principle as the bigger Tracos, just applied to the truck. Because the side dump, we run a super single, it's a 36-ton trailer.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that the bigger Traco isn't going to go fit on every job.
Yeah.
But when it works, it works.
And it just kicks the crap out of it. And then the other thing too is if I only have 210 Tracos and I have 160 Traco, and I was gonna say sissy, but not a sissy, but I just am not. I'm comfortable where I'm at. You can't compete with me, especially if you have a client that's doing 5, 6, 8 houses a year. If that client is always waiting, and the type of clients we have, the type of clients you have, my clients are not going to wait for 3 weeks for me to get to a job and dig it. My clients, the day they call, and what happens, and this is where your dummy Tracos work good. We still have 210 Tracos, but what we do is we put those over there to get started. You know, the plumber's got to get in. We'll put those over there to kind of get a way for people to do stuff. But as soon as we can put a big Traco over there, we're putting a big Traco over there. But when you have a mindset that, I'm only going to have this size Traco, you can't compete with us. And if your client starts growing and your client starts getting a lot more projects and you're like, well, my equipment's paid off, I'm not growing, your client's going to call me. And if he's a good client, he's going to see the efficiency and me knocking the crap out of things, and you're not going to have any more work.
Yeah, and that's something to keep in mind as you either, to me, and when we talk about this, when we talk about our business and things, is you grow or you die.
Yeah.
That's just true.
Yeah.
It's true with you anywhere through history, even down to the application of your small business. You grow or you die, and you keep up or you die.
Yeah, it's like you working out, okay? Let's say you're working out and you're trying to get your bench to be 100, right? Hey, I reached 100. Okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to go for 125, 150? Mm-hmm. Nope, I'm good.
No, I'm good right here.
100's as strong as I want to get.
Yeah.
Well, what's going to happen? You're going to start getting weak. Well, I don't want to work out anymore because I don't want to get stronger.
Well, because nothing's changing. You're putting effort into something where it's not changing.
Because if I want to get up to 125, 135, then I'm going to have to eat more calories. I don't want to do that. Then I'm going to have to get a bigger fridge. I'm going to have to eat more protein, and that just sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, and for me, I really personally in my life, I kind of live by, I was telling you earlier about the reason I do things is if it's something I don't feel like doing, that's why I do it. So what I always say is the obstacle is the way.
Yeah.
And so where the obstacle was the way for us wrapping our heads around these bigger machines and residential projects, looking at it, I was like, because I'm feel so reluctant to do it. I told my brothers this. That's why I want to do it. Because, and you always ask yourself, how am I going to keep this machine busy?
Yeah.
I don't know. We've kept all the other ones busy somehow, some way. So you kind of, if you put it out there,
Yeah.
and you get it, you're the type of person as a business owner where you're gonna make it work.
Yeah.
You're just, no one ever, when you're a young guy buying a house and that mortgage is staring at you.
Yeah.
And that's really scary. You become used to it and you make it happen, and there's no way on earth you're not gonna pay that mortgage payment.
Yeah.
You're going to.
I think I've been thinking a lot lately. I'm 55 right now. I've been thinking a lot lately about how dangerous it is to get content. And let's say you get your business to a certain point, you've got the clients you have. I think there's a fear in that. Like I get really scared when I start feeling content. Okay, I've got enough clients. I got enough work coming in. My employees are okay. And then I get up in the morning and things are on autopilot. I also get really scared thinking about, okay, I got to be brave and I got to be more. And for me, it's not about money, because I don't have any money, and me going out and working doesn't make me more money. Like, I don't have more money in my bank account than I did 10 years ago. I'm still as broke as I've ever been. But for me, mentally, I have to keep being scared and cautiously scared. Like, I don't, when I buy a machine, a lot of times when I buy a machine, I've thought about it for a long time. We just bought new dump trucks that are 6 axles, and we put every option on them that you could get. I didn't just one day decide, hey, I'm going to go buy that truck. Like, I think about stuff for a year, 2 years, for a long time. And so when I make a decision, a lot of times the people around me think, oh, you just made this decision overnight. No, I've been thinking and mulling this over for a long time. So I think it's important to be a little bit scared, and you need to do something that scares you.
Well, there's that, I can't remember which ancient philosopher said it, but comfort is the enemy of progress. And if you have a mindset like that if not for anything, if you're pushing your business to another level, even like you said, because I mean, we don't have any more money either than we did 10 years ago, but what you can do is you can make the people that are on your team and their lives much better. And that is the difference you can make as a business owner.
And that is one of the reasons why it's so important for me that you keep growing. And I'm not talking about necessarily that you keep buying more or whatever that growth looks like, but I think you have to grow so that the guys that are working for you have another spot to grow into, so that their life is better and that they can become more. If you're good and you have a cap on what you're doing, then everybody working with you has a cap, and then they're all just stagnant.
Well, and the reason that doesn't work, the biggest reason that the stagnancy doesn't work is because of inflation.
I don't know how anybody's doing it.
Yeah, you can't sit there and stay pat, because if you don't grow, then slowly but surely it's slow. You're either sinking or you're rising, and that's just the
even
truth.
your younger guys that are working for you, they get married, they start having kids. You know, they were okay making this much money, but as their life goes along, they've got to make this much more. And I think you've got to keep trying to provide a path for them to grow into, so that they can continue to have a good quality of life. And you can't do that if you just stay the same.
Yeah, because the reality is, if they're not looking at you for that, they're looking at someone else.
Yeah.
And that's the decisions we have to make. But going back to the bigger equipment thing, I had a guy stop by one of my projects a while ago. I told you about this. This is when I was talking to you about this. And we went with a 340 is what we did. And so I called.
Do you know anybody else that's running a 340 digging a basement right now?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm sure there's someone out there, but not off the top of my head. But we've got this big 340 sitting there, and it's going to town, and it's kicking trash on this job. And some guy stops by and walks up to my client, the guy we're working for. He's like, "What is this guy doing? He's got this giant." He was calling it a heavy iron track hoe is what he was. He's like, he's got this heavy iron on a residential project. Like, this guy's a lunatic.
Do you know how old this guy was, or we don't know?
He's about 50.
Okay.
So He's about 50.
He's done growing, right?
Yeah.
His brain's done.
Well, and I saw his pickup, and he was driving an old Super Duty.
No cat license plate though.
No, he didn't meet the qualifications, so he I immediately knew that he wasn't a cat guy. But it turns out, I mean, he claimed he was. Further on in the conversation, I'll tell you about it. But he started telling my client, like, I can tell that's a guy that's got daddy's money, that's got a machine. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he'll be out of business in 2 years.
That actually makes me happy. I love that. That's what he thinks it was.
and he said, I guarantee. He said, I don't know if you're open to this. If anything happens, he's like, let me take this job over, and I'll get my two. He starts saying he has 2 Cat 320s. He's like, and I'll work circles around that guy with my 2 Cat 320s. And I just told my client, I said, he's got 2 320s, and I'm like, and I've got a 340. I'm like, what's 20 plus 20? I'm like, all right, like, we're good. It's 40.
I'm not good at math, but I can figure this one out.
Yeah. So I was just being dumb, telling him that 2 320s equals 1 340. And that we were going to be fine, that we were going to kick its trash, and then we'll go out of business in a couple of years.
And what has more reach?
So I actually.
What has more reach? Two 210s or 2 320s or one 340? Which one has more reach?
Probably the 2 320s. If you're lined them up, they're moving. They're like, if one throws a scoop, behind it.
So if you add those together.
Yeah, it is. The 320s are probably longer, but then you need to look into how many guys are you paying.
Yeah.
Because the way I like to think about it is how many motors are moving what amount of dirt.
Yeah, how much fuel's he burning?
Yep. And so the question I get, and this is where I'm kind of funny. I was talking to you about this the other day, but people keep DMing me when I post this 340, like, how many cubic yards is that bucket? Like, what's the reach on the 340 versus a 320?
It's like this much.
Yeah, I'm like, it's about yay big. I'm like, I know when I reach into the bed of my dump truck to load it, that I've only got about 6 inches on each side, so I don't hit it.
When I go over there, I'll take a picture. I'll spread my arms out and show you. It's this much.
Well, this is what I did. So I took some note. This is the first time I've ever looked this up. I like
that you figured this out after you got the machine, not before.
That's just how. Like I said, but the way my mindset is, I don't know. It just moves more dirt. So I actually had to call Jim for this information.
Yeah.
Did you know all this stuff's available on Cat's website, I guess?
Yeah, I'll bet there's a guy that's last name is Snow in Midway. He probably knows what it is.
Well, Bridger knows what it is. Yeah.
He could tell us.
Because Bridger's smart. And my brother Kyler knows all this information too. But me and Nick just look at each other like, I don't know. It's just a big bucket. So I did it. So the bucket that's on my machine, that 340, is 2.7 yards, not heaping. So I just found that out.
Do you know what a 320 is?
No, I don't. I don't know what a 320 is.
Okay, you keep looking at your stuff. I'm going to look at the 320.
So another thing I didn't know you could do, you can go on Cat's website and compare excavators. You can click like which 3 you want to line up. And so you've
never done that before you bought one? I've never actually gone on and looked at any website what the machine does.
My finger's cold. It's not working that
I know,
great.
my thumb's really cold. Quit laughing, Tug.
Okay, so this is the 320, the 330, and the 340 all consecutively.
Wait, it's going to tell you. So you're going to tell us right now.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
I don't even need Chat GPT.
Well,
That's what I was doing.
Figure out the buckets because I don't know that.
Okay.
I run the 54-inch buckets is what we use on all of our 320s.
Tell me how many yards is a 54-inch bucket on a 320 cat track hill? This is how I do all my math. I want to say it's like
1.7.
So the other one, okay, here we go. Got you. 320, usually 1.25 to 1.75 cubic yards.
Oh, good guess, huh?
Yeah.
I'm getting really smart after one day of looking into this. But here's the weights, because this is another question. People ask me how much.
Yeah, it says 1.5 is the average.
Okay. And that's pretty typical for most people. But want to know what's funny, actually? We run the biggest buckets we can on stuff.
That's us too.
But did you know that's not normal? Most people, I believe, like when I'm driving around up in Park City or Heber and driving past other people's projects, lots of people have 210s and 320s, and they're always running the 48-inch bucket. And I can tell it's 48 inches just from looking at it. And I've asked them before, Cat makes a 54-inch bucket, and they always say, no, they don't. Yeah, I mean,
Somebody does.
we've got 10 of them. We're getting them from somewhere. I'm not sure where, but that's just a side note. Not a lot of people even realize that there's an efficiency thing to it.
Yeah.
And so it's just interesting. But the other question I get a lot on that 340 is, hey, how much does it weigh? And I'd like to say
You're
a
saying
lot.
the whole Traco.
The whole Traco.
Oh, I couldn't even tell you.
How
much does a 330 weigh? I don't know.
I got them. Look, they let you compare all three of them right across.
See, I
from
need
each
this
other.
thing.
Yeah.
I'll probably never look at it.
I'll send you the link so you can never click it, just like me. But the 320 is about 50,000. The 330 is about 70,000, and this 340 is about 83,000.
Wow.
So
good to know.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Huh.
I didn't know before that, and then I even screenshotted the reach here, because you know what the reach on your 330 is?
I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff.
Yeah,
and the thing is, if somebody, I just know it's more.
So I don't understand some of that. Well, let's go with maximum digging depth. How does that sound?
Okay, let's do that.
A 320 is 22 feet, a 330 is 23.9, and a 340 is 26.9.
Wow.
So it's considered. So the 340 is as different from the 330 as the 330 is from the 320.
Oh, we shouldn't have this conversation.
I know.
How much is a brand new 340?
I don't know.
5, 6, 4? I don't know.
I think it was right. I was around 6. I'm not.
Interesting.
See, this is the other reason I'm not good to talk. I don't give good advice with this stuff. I just say I think it costs a lot.
Yeah. Wow.
So that machine's 15, 16 grand a month.
Yeah.
Somewhere right there.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but when you're looking at that much more reach, it's noticeable when you get in it. Because you like me, probably tens of thousands of hours on Tracos, right?
Yeah.
And I could sit here on your deck if I was sitting in a machine, and I know what exactly I could reach out there and touch with the 320. For me, to know I could reach out and touch the very end of your railing over there was very, very weird. It was super weird to me that you could do that.
And after you've done it, you don't ever want to run a different machine.
No, I went from that one to one of our 325s, was doing a bunch of rock work, and I couldn't reach anything. I couldn't. It felt like a Mini X.
So we have a 335 Cat,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate that machine. And it's because when I'm digging with it, I have to sit right on the edge to reach anything because it's super short.
So I ran comparables on that too. Do you know what that one's reach is?
I have no idea. I've never even looked.
It's 6 inches less than your 330s. No, it really is.
Really?
6 inches less.
No. I would have to look again because, Tug thinks this is funny. Tug's a math guy.
Tug, will you look for us on that?
The other thing that I don't like about the 335 is when I'm running it, it's just shaking back and forth.
Yeah, because that's the con of the zero turn radius, huh?
Yeah, and I asked Jared the other day, I'm like, hey, I said, I want to get rid of that machine or let's trade it in for a 335 or 330. And he said, look how manly we are too, sitting out here on the deck. He said, no, he said, because on the commercial jobs, that machine's perfect.
Really valuable, huh?
Yeah, because he said, we're doing a deep sewer in the road right now, and there's a power pole right by us, and we won't have to worry about the power pole.
I was going to say, we'll buy it from you, because I've got one ordered right now. So
do you?
I was harassing Jim about it the other day. But we've got those 325s, which are the 320 with no counterweight, and it's similar there. But for what it is, you think it's bad, the stability issue on those till you run a different brand's zero swing.
And it's horrible.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Well,
because we've got some Komatsus too.
Oh, uh-huh.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Because I don't run them, but we've got some Komatsus, and the 238 is the comparable.
Oh,
the
interesting.
325, and I mean my dad really likes it, and he doesn't like when I talk crap on it, but I hate that machine. I hate it.
Yeah, we tried out Komatsu, and I didn't have it enough to have an opinion, but we never bought any Komatsus.
We've got their dozer is a good dozer.
Yeah.
That's what our dozer is a Komatsu, and it's a good dozer.
Yeah.
But because we're mostly residential, we don't use that machine unless we're on a subdivision.
It just sits.
Yeah, it sits a lot.
The other thing that I was thinking about, where that guy was making fun of your 340, and we're probably idiots, right? We'll probably both be bankrupt by July, and everybody will be like, yeah, did you hear those two guys? Yeah, look at them now. So I know there's another job too that a guy just moved like 2 330s onto, or two big machines. And I do remember somebody making fun of this guy, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But my thought was, you know who puts down somebody that has a 340 cat? Somebody that doesn't.
Yeah.
And you know who puts down somebody that has 2 big track hoes on a job to dig it? Somebody that doesn't have the ability to do it. And anybody that is out there kicking trash and winning and sees that, their thought process is completely different. When I drive by the job, now we're hearing a helicopter in the background, and what's fun is I told my wife the other day that we were going to buy a helicopter. Me and Tug have been looking, and what's fun is she told us that's really dumb that dumb people have helicopters. You know what she did, Lance? When I told her we wanted to buy a helicopter, she says, why don't you come in the office with me and pay bills with me today? And then I went in there with her and she showed me how much she paid out. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. We better just keep money for fuel.
Out of sight, out of mind, Devin.
But the people that make fun of the guy are the people that don't have it. And when I drove by the job where a guy had 2 big machines on it, because we're to the point that when we do a dig and a backfill on a house, if we don't have 2 machines on it, I am losing my mind.
Yeah, because you know better.
Yeah, I just know I can get that house done in a week, and or quicker, or in 2 weeks. But when I'm on a job and I see us backfilling right here, I'm looking over there and I'm like, oh, it's just making me so grumpy that we can't get that done. I want to get it done. I don't have time to park a machine on there for a long time. So when I see a machine like your 340 on a job, and especially knowing the type of work that you're doing, I'm like, that is awesome. And I realize that somebody's being brave. And the other job where I think the guy had a 330 and like a 335 on it, getting ready to dig a hole. I'm like, man.
Oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
I look at that and I'm like, I don't know who that contractor is, but those guys are getting ready to kick some trash.
Well, I'll tell you what I know about that excavator is that they're not cheap. Those excavators are not cheap, and that's just fine. And I think it's so funny how many people are scared of that comment.
Yeah,
because it's not a money thing to me. It's what you're paying for, what you're getting.
Yeah,
is leveled up. And I have what you were saying about the only people that criticize, the 340 or a bunch of 330s on a job is because they don't have them. I've been there's an idiom for that. Have you ever heard about the sour grapes? There was a book. I don't remember the book or where exactly this came from. It just stuck a couple of years ago when someone was telling me about it. There was a fox that was looking in a vineyard and saw some grapes.
I'll see. I love these type of things.
And he saw the grapes up there and he tried getting them, but he couldn't get to them. So the fox just convinced himself that the grapes were sour and probably not good anyways, and just moved on. But he never knew.
Yeah.
That's just what he convinced himself to believe. So when me and Devin were talking about this, I said, Devin, have your, I want a Dirt Gear Co. shirt that says, do you have a 340?
Yeah.
And I'm going to start wearing it everywhere. Maybe that's really arrogant, but I just think that's funny because the reality is that you're going to criticize it because you haven't tried it.
And the thing that's interesting for me, and here's what's really good for me, I've thought about this a lot too, because a lot of the social influencers and whatnot that are on Instagram or social media, we kind of know the dirt guys. I don't know them. Like you know me a lot better than most people know me. Like I kind of let you have access that other people I just don't talk to. But what I always think is interesting is all of us think we're so dang smart. And especially like in the influencer thing, blah, blah, blah. Everybody thinks they're so smart. Let me tell you how to bid jobs. If you want, you can pay me some money, join my club, and I'm going to teach you how to bid jobs. I've already told you I don't know how to bid jobs, right? But then I have people that will say things and they're like, oh, those guys don't know what they're doing. I am the first guy to tell you that I have no clue what I'm doing. And this should be a warning to you. Like, don't follow me because I'm going down a road and I don't know where it ends and I don't know that I have the right stuff. I think most of us have no clue what we're doing. I think most of us that are good guys are just getting up tomorrow and doing the best we can. And like with you with the 340, with us with the 330s, everything I do, I will go buy a 340 track coat just to see if it works. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't work, next year I'm going to sell it and I'm going to go try something else. But I'm not going to sit here and tell you how smart I am and tell you that I've got it figured out, because I don't. What I do have figured out is when this week doesn't work, I'm going to try again next week and try something different.
Well, so something I want to say about all that, though, Devin, is that what guys like you and why I've related to you and gravitated towards you and your mindset, because I think it was always there. But going back to what I said earlier, you kind of need to figure out that there's something to be said for what you don't know. And the value in people like you, Devin, is that you know what you know, but more so you know what you don't know. And
which
so,
is all of it.
Which is, yeah. And so if that's your approach, because I can even tell you this, even on the influencer side of things or social media, whatever you want to call it, your page, I tell people all the time, is better, like, because it's not, like, I prefer Devin, I prefer Dirt Gearco's content over almost anyone's. And the whole reason why even me, that my face is on the camera with what we do is the same stupid reason I'm doing all the other things I'm doing, because I didn't want to do it.
Yeah, it's scary.
And I'd watch you do it, and you just put up videos where it wasn't edited or it wasn't any of that crap, and I'm doing the same thing. Like, I tell people, like, oh, I love your content. I'm like, I don't watch it. I don't watch my own content.
I hate it. In fact, Tug will film me doing something, and then I'm like, oh, that is dumb. Don't post it. But it's who I am, and I'm like, oh, that's dumb. The other thing with that is, I get up every morning with Tug, and I'm like, hey, man, I wished I had something wise that I could share with somebody, or I wished I could tell somebody a good way to go out and get good clients, or I wished I could tell them how to be a good employer, or I wished I could tell them how to make money, or whatever. And all day long I think, well, I've got nothing. So that's why we throw out there the stuff that we do.
Well, it has a ripple effect, is what I'm saying, and a lot of it goes more appreciated than you'd think, because I see the way other people do it. Which grounded people have said I do it too, the flashy and the look what I got, look at this new machine. None of that stuff bothers me, and quite frankly, I don't care if that's what people think about me.
I'll be honest with you, sometimes when you call me and talk to me about some other stuff that's going on, it just kind of annoys me. Like when I hear this, because I like so much just to be stuck in my little shell. Mm-hmm. And even I've had some other people reach out to me lately that are like, oh, things are really tough, or this is going on. And to me, it's just such bad energy.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not, and maybe I need to be sympathetic, but when I get that, I'm like, oh man, I don't want that guy to talk to me. Or they call me and they're complaining, oh, this is going on, or this is too hard, or this isn't working out. And they're just griping. And I'm like, I kind of don't want to talk to that guy again, because I feel like he's got a negative mindset. He's got a closed mindset, and I need people around me that are like going up and going forward. So, because
the people you spend the most time with become exactly who you are, and so I understand that. But either way, what you're doing goes further than the ripple effect of it goes further than you think. But we all go through phases with it, because like I said, I'm posting stuff on Instagram because I don't want to.
Yeah.
That's actually the real reason I'm doing it. And every now and then I quit it and I don't post.
Yeah.
If you watch our company page, I'll go weeks without posting something, because I don't.
You know what I've
I don't
decided?
care. So.
A little bit. I think sometimes I think about, okay, this is for my kids and my grandkids. And so, like, even right now where I've got my grandson that's not feeling so great, a lot of times we'll post stuff just so that he has something to look at. And then I think, okay, what is something, and I'm not doing a good job at this, like I should do better, but I think, well, if I was documenting my life for my future grandkids, I have a lot of grandkids right now, but they could say, man, what was Grandpa like? What did he do? What was Dad like? So a little bit, even the stuff that you're posting all the day lately, and you think maybe it doesn't matter. I think it does matter for heritage, or for whoever, or kids or whatever, just to see and know who you are.
Well, I've been experiencing something odd with some of what I've been posting lately. I was posting some stuff, two different things. A couple days ago, I posted something about the way we start a job. Up there in Park City, it's a bigger deal.
I saw that post.
Yeah. someone reached out to me and said, I've never thought of not staking out the entire house until you grew up. And it was a builder.
Okay. That's actually, but so to me, why would you post that? That's so dumb. But when I show up to the job and I see that they just spent money staking the whole thing out, I'm like, your guy needs to come back out tomorrow. Other than with GPS, we reshoot it. But that's interesting that you would say that.
Yeah, well, and my approach with it now is I make a 1-second decision is what it's called. Where, like, if I get out and see something, and the way my mind works, I'm like, oh, I'm going to post that because I know we do this a particular way. So the other thing was did you see those rock stairs I was posting? Some guy DMs me. He's like, I have been building rock stairs for 20 years and never once had that thought.
Which part? Tipping them forward?
Tipping them forward for the two reasons of gliding at them easier than if something settles, your step isn't back, isn't sloping the wrong way. He told me, he's like, I've built hundreds of sets of rock stairs and always just put them level. He's like, and I'm changing it. I'm changing the way I do things.
Interesting.
And so that just made me realize, I'm like, I don't give a crap about what I post and what people
So now
think.
you're training your competition and you're going to lose work.
That, want to know what? If that's what it is, then that is
you
what it
must
is.
really suck if you lose work that somebody starts doing it that way.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't worry about that stuff.
Yeah.
It just, to me, it's a big sandbox, and at the end of the day, the person you are is going to show through in the work that you do.
Yeah, that's why I'm always worried, is I don't want that to show through.
Well,
that's the scary part.
Yeah, I can see that too. But at the end of the day, if you have integrity and you have a way of doing things, it definitely reflects on your company and your culture and all that you have going on.
Well, I think you're awesome, and I've liked watching what you do. I don't know how long we've been here, but do you have any questions for me before we're done?
I think I did have a question.
You have a question?
I do have. I wrote a couple down when I was.
Crud tug. Go ahead and turn this off.
Let's see.
Shut it down.
All right. The question I have for you, Devin, is how do you go about retaining your core piece guys, your managers, and your guys that are running jobs?
I don't know.
It's a good answer.
I don't know, but what people have told me from time to time is the reason that they're still here, and most of my guys stay that are here, and it's not because of pay, because I wished I could pay all my guys like $200,000, $300,000.
Yeah.
Like none of my guys get paid enough. But what I do try to do is I try to see them, and if they have difficulty at home or in their life, I try to see that. One of the things that we have a little bit, this is fun out here in the cold with our Kleenex and looking like sissies. One of the things for me is like when guys need time off.
Mm-hmm.
I know a very, very successful excavator who has a huge company, 200 plus guys. I don't know that this story is true, but in my mind, I've heard this story that when people have asked for time off, like they're like, hey, in 2 weeks, I need some time off. He told them something like, and this I guarantee you isn't verbatim what was said, but he told them, why don't you just take the rest of the month off? And
if that's what he needs, basically.
Yeah. If you're going to screw me, then why don't you take the rest of just don't come back to work. So for me, if you're an employee and you're a good person, you don't really need to ask me for time off because you already know the situation. You already know that we need you at work. You already know the responsibility that you have at work. So if you tell me that you need Thursday and Friday off, I don't need to decide whether or not you're taking it off because you already know. And we have a relationship where I trust you. So I think that I see my guys in that way. I've had my guys too that I'll call them and say, hey, where are you at? What are you doing? And they'll be at their kids' play or something. I had no idea. I don't even care. Mm-hmm. Like they're not there. I don't know the answer to that. but I do think that I try to treat them with respect and dignity. When my guy dented the crap out of the machine, I don't know if you swear or not, because I've never heard you swear. I don't know if I swear or not. Like, I don't know when the last time I swore was, because I actually try to make it a habit not to, because then people think you're opening the door to them to use construction talk and words that I don't understand. But when my guys screw something up, I don't go up to them and I'm like, you stupid mother effer, like, you're so stupid. I go up to them and I say, okay, let's think through this. What did we learn from doing this so it doesn't happen again? What can we do different? And I tell them, look, this bugs me. I'm upset about it. But I hope I don't treat them poorly. Like I kick their trash, and then when I walk away from them, they feel hurt. Like, I had a guy one time tipped a traco over. And
all the way over, or just most of the way? Like,
well,
like
what's
mine?
your definition? He had the boom all the way up in the air and tracked up a hill sideways, and the traco went over and tipped over.
I guess for me, if you damage side panels, you tipped it over.
And then it just blew white smoke out. and he was laying there. I think it knocked him out, because when we went over there, he was just laying there, not doing anything.
Maybe he didn't know what else to do, and it was just dramatic.
I think he was faking. Like, there was a guy in some other country that faked like he passed out after they busted him. I don't know if that's what he was doing. Did you ever see that?
Then he had then he what's it called, amnesia?
Yeah,
or something where he couldn't remember anything.
This is what that guy did. I think he saw me coming, because I think I saw him looking out the window, and then when I got there, he's like then it finally passed out.
It's like your little daughter that's pretending she's asleep. She's got one.
That's exactly what happened. But when I went over there, I opened the door and I said, look, this is not good, obviously. But also, I don't want to do or say anything that injures, like, your spirit or your inside and make you feel less than. This bugs me that this happened, and this is where maybe I need to be more manly or more bravado and be like, and scream and holler and kick stuff. But I don't. I'm like, I wish this hadn't happened, but it did, and let's do better.
So, a lot for me with the way that we handle that stuff, we try and take a similar approach, because you can't change what happened. It doesn't matter how mad you get.
Yeah.
You can't change the fact that trackle was laying over. There's nothing you can do about it at that point. And so, going back to that guy I used to work for, he was the kicker and the screamer and the
I've
swearer.
worked for that guy.
And it was screaming at the top of his lungs, calling you every name you could think of. And I watched that behavior, and it drove off a lot of guys I hired. Yeah. Through the years, I watched that. That's why it was good for me to get away from him.
Yeah.
But I watched that through the years, and it wasn't behavior that I wanted to mirror at all. And so I kind of, through watching other people, learned that I just didn't want to be that way. And so to me, when my guy tipped a trackle over and he calls me about it, I just started laughing. And the first thing I asked him, because it's the most important thing, is, are you okay?
Yeah, every time. That's what is anybody hurt?
Yeah,
that's all I care about.
You can get a new traco. But a guy dies under your dime and under your care, that's a different story. And so for us in our business, our core guys have been there since we don't have a lot of employee turnover. And so I was just wondering if there's something you do, but for us, it's the same thing. How can we take care of you?
Yeah.
How do you, because I know companies that keep guys for 2 years and they have a complete turnover every time. I try to see the people that work with me too. Like, the way I look at it, I'm not the employer. I'm not I don't own the company. I mean, I have all the liability and the debt, but to me, it's a group of guys that are doing it. So it's the mentality of, you don't work for me, you work with me.
Yeah.
That's
nobody works for me. Yeah. And like, if I say my guys, do I say my guys? I don't know. I also, when I'm talking to about situations, I always say we, not I.
I try to,
like,
as well.
On our equipment, our project, not my project. Like I try to make sure that it's not me, but I say that, but I'm not them. So I don't know how they see that. I don't know. I was wondering if there was a mosquito there.
I was wondering what that was.
I don't know. I don't know if that's their perception too. Like that might not be true, but I know that I try to treat my guys as good as I possibly can. I think I could probably talk to them more and have a relationship with them more when I'm on the job site. A lot of times I think, oh man, I should have connected with that person. But selfishly, a lot of times I'm just so caught up in myself. Even going throughout the day, like I'm thinking about, oh, okay, do I have enough work for my guys? Do I have the right equipment for my guys? Do I have the right projects for my guys? Do I have the right guys for the project? Those are things that consume me all day long. So I don't do a very good job of when I see you that I run up to you and I'm like, hey, Lance, how you doing? Oh, good to see you. Usually I'm going to whatever on the job, whatever that thing is that I got to go look at, and I go look at that and I go talk to the one person that I need to talk to, and then I go back to my truck and I go to work. And a lot of times when I leave, I'm like, oh man, why can't I be better? Like I've got all these guys working on the job site with me and for my family. Why can't I be better that I go and say, hey, how are you doing? How's your wife? How's your kids? How are you doing? And I'm that part I'm really, really bad at.
I guess I don't know how good or bad I am with that.
Yeah.
Because most of us are brothers.
Yeah.
So, but you know, the reality is we're as good as our worst guy is.
100%.
And we've got lots and lots of great guys, and we've got young guys that have lots of potential. But for us, because my dad had so many sons, we kind of just inherit employees. Because one thing I know about us is we don't know how to hire anybody. We're not good at it. I tried ads once. It was a terrible experience. I've hired people that have walked up, and I don't prefer that. And so what we do is we run lean, and we just really stress ourselves out and say yes to a bunch of work we shouldn't say yes to, and then we just work 7 days a week.
We're not good at hiring any either. Like most of the people that we've hired through ads or something, they're not here anymore.
No.
And what's fun is Jared, who's been with me, well, Coleman, who's one of my main operators and has been with me for probably like 15 years. I was at somebody else's office, and they had a stack of applicants, and they had a stack of people that they weren't hiring. And this is a stack. And I'm like, what is that? And they said, oh, this is these applications of guys we're not hiring. And I said, well, can I look through them? And Coleman was one that they weren't hiring. So I hired Coleman, and it was interesting. When he showed up to work, he needed work as bad as I did. And he had like these big earrings in. And I said, if you want a job tomorrow, those are gone. And because I just wanted clean cut guys, whatever. And he showed up the next day and didn't have him in. He's been with me forever. And
ever since, huh?
Yeah, and he's awesome. Jared, I tried to hire Jared one time, and he wouldn't go to work for me because I offered him $15 an hour. But the reason I offered him $15 an hour was because I didn't want him to quit his job and come to work for me for more money.
Yeah.
And I'm horrible at hiring. But when we get guys, I don't know, we're like the Bad News Bears. Where else are we going to go?
We've got the same problem. So once you figure that out, let me know so that we can do better.
I don't know how to hire people, because the other thing too, it seems like to hire somebody, you got to blow a bunch of smoke. Hey, we're going to give you a brand new truck. We're going to pay you all this money. No, you know what? You go to work here, it sucks. In the wintertime, it sucks. It's cold. You got to get up in the morning. You got to go work. It sucks. Everything we do sucks. Do you still want to come to work here? No, that kind of sounds like the job I already have.
Yeah. So, but that's actually a good tactic, because then you're not setting someone up to fail. Because most of the time, companies with high turnover is because they're promising people the world when that's not reality, and that's not what they're doing. And we just tell people it's going to suck, and then they're not disappointed. This is fun, huh, Tug? My nose is running before I know it.
We're like a bunch of old ladies out here, Tugs. And you know what? We're going to have to be done pretty quick, because we only have one Kleenex left.
And I stopped feeling my toes about 5 minutes ago. How about you?
It's awesome. Tug wanted to do a podcast outside, and here we are.
This was your idea, Tug.
He wanted to do it on the job site, and I'm like, we got so much stuff to set up. I'll tell you this, Lance. I pretty much am defective and suck at everything I do, and I just try again and again. And the guys that work with me realize that, and I think they're okay with it, and they're like, yeah, we suck too. So
It's a more genuine approach. You're not claiming to know everything.
Yeah.
You're not, and I like it. Your favorite. The first hat I ever bought from Dirt Gear Co. was the Embrace the Suck one.
Oh, yeah?
And I've got a bunch of those stickers, of your Embrace the Suck stickers, and that's my favorite sticker.
do you still have an Embrace the Suck hat?
I do, yeah.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't throw my hats away. I'm the type of guy, I wear a hat like for about a month, it starts getting old, and I never wear it again, but I also never throw it away.
Is it wore out? Because we have a bunch of those.
It's pretty dirty. Yeah. It's pretty dirty.
Tug's going to hook you up with some more.
Okay.
So your question was, what was your question that you asked?
How do you keep your core guys?
Oh, man, I try really hard just to take care of them and see them. And I don't know the answer. I don't know why they're still here.
The reason I'm asking you that question is somebody asked me that question a couple days ago, and I didn't have an answer for it.
I don't know. Desperation?
Yeah, that's actually what I said.
They've got nowhere else
they
to
feel
go?
bad for us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they know if they left that who are they going to put in that big traco. I don't know what it is, but what I do know is that so much of who we are as a business, I put that success on the people that have stuck with us.
And that's me. That's why if I was not here, like if I wasn't here for 2 weeks, on my projects, nobody would know. The contractor, if I died right now, and the people we work for didn't know I died, they wouldn't know for a month.
They'd see the obituary in the papers.
Because my guys, I'm saying that I'm pretty irrelevant. The work would still get done. My guys that are out running the jobs would still do the work. The only way that somebody would know that I died is because I wasn't getting back to them on hard questions or payroll or difficult questions that my guys can't answer.
Well, want to know what you've done unknowingly, and I can speak to this because I actually experienced this, is that my dad, after we got a couple years into it, handed the reins over to me and Kyler and Nick, and he did that, and I'm sure if I asked him today, he'd still think that we're a bunch of clowns with our thinking and stuff. But to his credit, him doing that provided us the opportunity to step into the shoes and do it.
Yeah.
And so probably without you even realizing, your approach has given your guys enough an opportunity for responsibility that's taken them way further in their life, probably than you've even realized.
Yeah. I would say that's true. And the thing that's interesting is I've had jobs that when I showed up to work, and I'll fill in sometimes. I haven't for a long time, but back in the day I would show up. Tug knows the story. We went to a job one time, and I was getting ready to start backfilling compacting, and they're like, "Where's Coleman at?" And I said, "He's on another job." Well, and the guy was being serious. He's like, "Well, I don't trust having you here. I want Coleman here." And I'm like, "Do you remember the Tug?
Do you know who I am?"
I said, "You do realize that I was the one, and Coleman's really smart, but you do realize that I'm the one that helps other people figure some of this stuff out, and like this is, I'm the guy that does it, but that's how good my guys are, is that when, even on machinery and stuff, I hopped in a machine the other day, and I was a little bit embarrassed because I had people watching me, and I was trying to grade some stuff out, and I knew as close as they were watching me, I'm like, because I'm not in a machine every day all day long.
Yeah.
And my guys are awesome. Like, without my guys, I have no company. Without me, these guys wouldn't have a job. Without my guys, I would be like living in a trailer somewhere, probably doing DoorDash.
Well, and is it tough for you not to be in equipment all the time? Because as we go on, me and my older brothers, and I've got younger brothers that are going to come up and assume the same role, and other great guys. But as time goes on, I'm spending all my time just driving around and making the world go round, and I operate less and less, which is actually the thing I love.
Yeah.
The operating is what I love. And so that's actually kind of been hard on me, because it's not always like riding a bike, it kind of is. But if you're out of touch or you haven't been in a machine, it's actually hard to reach a track clear out and pull a grade and it not start waving.
Yeah.
And that starts happening to me a little bit, and it kind of ticks me off.
Well,
so.
what I find a lot of times is, so there's kind of a couple different things. Sometimes I feel stressed that I got to go get in the machine because the guy's not available, because I always know I've got people calling me saying, hey, I need you to come look at this. Tug tries to get together with me, and I tell him to meet me somewhere, and then he's down there waiting for me, and then I call him, I'm like, oh, I got to go do this, because that's what I do. I chase my phone. Mm-hmm. Whoever calls, that's what I go take care of. So a lot of times, sometimes I'll be like, man, oh, I've got that track over there. I've got a dozer over there. I want to go do that. And then I'll go drive over there, and then my guys have already got somebody lined out, and it's already getting done. And I'm like,
dang it.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So like even today, I've got to put a bill together for a project. Mm-hmm. So then I'll just go back and I'll put the bill together. But I'm so disappointed.
But it's not what you wanted to do. Huh?
No,
you wanted to go run your new D6, huh?
I would just like to go spend 6 hours, 5 hours doing something. But I'll show up, and I've got guys that are so capable, they're already there, and I kind of will just get in the way. I don't know what the grade is. I don't know what they're doing. So I kind of have to stay back a little bit, which is a little more difficult.
Well, one last quick question for you.
Okay.
What because for me, this is an easy question for me, because me and my brothers are close, and we're close with my dad, and we've got that, and our great guys, we're all really close, because most of our great guys are friends,
right?
And they're our age, and they just came right into it.
Yeah.
What makes it all worth it for you to own and run your business? Is it because you've got some of your boys involved?
Yeah.
And like, I guess, and this is just an observation I made from the guy I used to work for. He had nobody, and I watched his business eat him. Yeah. Because he divorced from his wife, and his kids didn't have anything to do with them, and I watched all this, and he had no purpose.
Okay, so ask me your question directly again, since I have ADHD and I was thinking about the answer, and now the question. You said something like, "What makes it?"
Why do you do it?
So this probably isn't a very good answer. The reason I do what I do is, what else would I do? So what you don't know any of my background, right? You don't know that when I went to school, I didn't go to school. And
you were going for English or something, if I remember right.
Well, that was in college.
Oh,
but
okay.
In elementary school, we moved around a lot, all over the place, because my dad was construction and moved 18 times before I was 18.
Wow.
So whenever I went to school, I absolutely hated school, and I hated my teachers. So in elementary school, when I lived in Colorado, and the teacher made me mad, I rode the bus to school. I would just get up, like if they said something that I didn't, whatever, I'm just sensitive, I don't know. But if she said something or told me, a lot of it was, I just don't like being told what to do. So if they told me to do something or treated me a certain way, I'm like, screw this, I'm out of here. I would just walk home. And I rode the bus to school. So I would just walk home. When I was in junior high, I didn't want to go to school. So I would just get up in the morning, and I would go out the door, and then I would go out in the backyard, and I would go out in the orchard and then just sit all day till school was over, and then I'd go back. In high school, I had a full-time job working at nights. I hated school. So I don't have any mental capacity to go teach or do anything or to work for somebody else. I don't do well working with other people. So
I'm starting to understand something.
I have 7 kids and a wife, and every day I come home and they're just looking at me with their sad eyes, and they're like, "Daddy, we're hungry. And I'm like, crap, what am I going to do? So I got to get up and go to work again in the morning. And now I have grandkids and I have family, and I've got to take care of them. What's interesting is this question that you asked me. My son, Jason, who's about your age, he's the one that his little boy's sick. We went to Idaho one day, and he asked me the same question, and he's like, man, Devin, you are so passionate about equipment. You just absolutely love equipment. Don't you love dirt and all this? And I'm like, no, but I love to eat, and I love to take care of my family, and I love the hot water to work.
Yeah.
And he's like, really? You don't just absolutely love equipment? And I'm like, honestly, I couldn't care less. And that's why I don't know all the different, I don't care. It provides me a means to take care of my family, and I'm not smart enough to be doing anything else. I don't know if that's genuinely the answer, but I feel like it is. Like, what else am I going to do? My wife has a teaching degree, and she thought, well, I should just go be the janitor at the high school, and she would teach English, and then we could make out in the closet or something. I don't know.
She's smart.
Yeah, but here I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I don't have nunchuck skills or anything awesome. Like, I'm not good at drawing anything.
Well, I just must be a special mix of it, because this is what I'm starting to pick up on things why I relate to you so much.
Yeah.
I hated school.
Yeah.
Too. I actually so my parents homeschooled.
Yeah.
So we did the online.
My
high
mom
school
did
program.
that for 2 years, and we just went hunting every day.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
The reason I loved homeschool is it was 4 hours a day, 4 days a week.
Yeah.
But I got to 11th grade and I actually just simply quit.
Yeah.
I didn't graduate high school.
Yeah.
I wish I should have went and got my GED. I pushed it off, and now here I am all these years later, and I still haven't done it. But yeah, I didn't love school either. The difference is that I am passionate about the equipment.
Yeah.
So if you were to ask me why don't I know the cubic yards of a bucket, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just work on that. But
I do love what I do. But I don't know. I don't know if other guys are full of crap when they're like, oh man, it's in my blood, blah, blah, blah. Or it's kind of like me telling you about the cat boys that like Caterpillar, rah, rah. Mm-hmm. And they probably do that because there's probably something missing in their life. Like, I feel like people that are in our industry, even in excavating, a lot of it, the reason they're like that, the reason it's all we have. So
it's like compensating, kind of. You're saying
I don't know that it's compensating. I think it's genuinely all we have. Like, I didn't play college football. I didn't play, so I don't have when I walk down the road, somebody doesn't see, oh, there's Devin Dyer, man. Do you remember how good he was in school? I don't have that. I don't have anything. And I think that's how a lot of people in our industry are. I don't know if they would tell you that, but what else have they got?
Makes a lot of sense.
Like let's go get our report cards. I've got a book of report cards in there that I've been going to read. Every one of them said does not pay it from kindergarten, does not use time wisely, does not get along with others, and everything needs improvement all the way through. I think most people in our industry are like that. And here's another thing interesting that I don't ever talk about, but I think it's interesting that everybody's always trying to get people into the trades. Oh, get them into the trades. Mm-hmm. And there's all this push. Oh, we need to get people in the trades. That
it's like dying off or something.
Yeah, get us into the trades. You know what? Honestly, if my kids can go get a job where they're making $40,000, $50,000 a year, and people aren't going to like this at all, but my son-in-law sits at a computer at his house. He doesn't give a crap in the wintertime that it's snowing outside. He does not care about frost in the ground. So I'm supposed to go get him, and he's going to college to get a degree in computer programming, which that's a difficult. Hey, Adrian, go get in the trades, buddy. You know what? You can run a shovel, and you can go out in the snow. It's the best in the summertime.
You'll love it.
It's 104 degrees. Get in the trades. We need you in the trades. Why would I do that to somebody I love?
So you could have somebody come shovel your tracks.
Why would I do that to somebody I love? Hey, you know what? The college, blah, blah, blah. Get in the trades. It's so good.
So your approach is just to just not worry about that as far as they go and just let them make their own path. I
will support them in whatever they do. My son H, is 22. He's running a whole bunch of guys and doing awesome. If he wants to do that, go do it. The other thing that's interesting is a lot of the people that you see, I don't know. I think as we're talking about it, that to me is a weird thing. Like if it works for you, go in the trades. But everybody that works for me right now, none of us did good in school. I don't have anybody that was a valedictorian working for me. I don't have anybody that was good at anything in school that's working for me. Everybody that's working for me, it's everybody that's defective. And I'm defective. So
I'm right there with you.
The whole thing about that, like getting the trades, I don't know. Okay, whatever.
Is it just because we weren't smart enough to do something else?
Here I am. I don't know what to tell you. I love being outside.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that if I had to go be in an office, I couldn't do it. But I don't know.
Office work drives you nuts then.
Yeah, and I do it every day, all day long. What was your question?
I don't remember.
What was the question, Tug?
I don't even remember.
Tug, do you remember the question?
Like, why do you do it?
Why do I do
that's
it?
Right.
Why do I do it? Okay, so there's probably a bunch of different reasons why I do it. So the number one reason I do it is I've got to eat. And if you talk to the guys that work for me, the reason they do it is they've got to eat. That's what's interesting about like the ConX show. Are you going to that?
I've never been in my whole life.
Why not? Everybody goes. It's a big deal.
Because I can't explain it to you, but though I'm curious and I'm sure it'd be fun. I don't necessarily think that that's going to make me do what I do any better. Or
that's not a very good take, right?
Yeah. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming it is, just so you know.
But I asked my guys, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to go to ConExpo? And they're like, no.
Have you ever been?
No.
That makes a lot of I'm like, I guess I feel pretty stupid.
Well, these are other things. This is stuff again that I keep private, why I don't do social media like I would. But so for me, and this isn't the case because there's a lot of good people, but for me, I have gone to trade shows. I've gone to stuff like that. And I see a bunch of guys down there hanging out, palling around. If I have 3 days off, frick, I want to go hang out with my wife somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I've already spent the whole year not seeing my wife and my kids. So why do I want to have another 3 days or 5 days to go be away from her and then to go hang out with a bunch of people and then at night have all these people, hey, we should go do this, go do this. Like I don't. Why do I want to hang out with you? And I asked my guys, I'm like, hey, do you guys want to go down to that? They're like, no, we just got done. We just got done running equipment like all day long.
Go spend our free time looking at it too.
And then here's the other thing. They're like, well, we can learn. Let's go down there. They're having a class on like Trimble stuff. What are you talking about? We just had a class for 3 days on Trimble stuff because they were out here putting all the stuff together on our machine, and then we were shooting all this points. Why in the world would I go pay a bunch of money to go down there to go to a class when I can have a class right here? And on the equipment thing too, go check out the latest and greatest equipment. If I want to check out the latest and greatest equipment, I'm going to call Caterpillar and say, hey, get that out here to my job.
Well, I've got similarities, and we're getting frostbite.
How cold is it out here, Tug?
But yeah, it's cold, but it's funny you mentioned.
Do you want me to blow in your ear? That'll make you warmer.
Thanks. We're all right, but I'll try and wrap up.
I do see steam coming out. We'll go all night. You don't threaten me with a good time. Tug, fire up the pizza maker.
It's just funny because you brought up Trimble, and I'm now realizing all the other things that you try and do because we don't run the 3D yet. We should.
If you did it once, you'd be.
Well, I know what's funny about me and us is I know that, but we don't have any tilt rotators either. That a lot of people are running and swear by it, and I've just noticed a lot of people that swear by that stuff. They're attracted to the ConExpo and stuff, and I get it, and I'm not judging them for it. I could give a care for it, but I don't know what it is, and maybe I just need to learn. Maybe you and I should fly down there together and finally go.
It'll never happen.
I don't think so, huh? But
it'll never happen.
But if I go, that's probably the only way it ever happens.
Let me tell you. how bad I suck. When I get up in the morning and my wife is still here, and you saw my wife, but you don't know my wife. When I was telling you my wife's like being married to 10 women, she's awesome. She does the work of 10 women. She kicks my trash like 10 women. Like she lets me have it. The reason I'm doing okay and the reason my bills are paid are just because she's kicked my butt. I bought a brand new Peterbilt dump truck in December 1st or something.
You're a bad influence with that, by the way.
Awesome. Always get the automatic transmission.
Yeah.
And get the biggest motor they have and don't cut corners on nothing.
Yeah. Well, like, I told you, I saw your post and now we've got one ordered too.
Yeah. See, you need to find better people.
I know.
She asked me, she's like, so did the payment on that truck get made? I'm like, I don't know. I said, I signed all the papers. And she says, well, I haven't seen any paperwork for that. I'm like, I don't know. It's probably on auto pay like all the rest of our equipment. Because everything we do, we just put it on auto pay. Yeah. Don't think about it. So probably, I don't know, 4 weeks, she keeps telling me, check your email. I checked my one email. I got 17,000 emails in my one email. And in my junk email, there's like 8,000. And I don't ever get rid of any of it because I might need it. So she said, well, check your email again. And I said, I don't have it. So the other night we're sitting here. And she's gently, but she's spicy. Like Tug's scared of her. I'm not scared of her because I like her. It makes me smile when she kicks my trash. But she's like, I haven't seen any of that. So I start going through my junk email, and I don't ever look at my junk email because it's always just spam. Yeah. And there's like some email from Francisco something, and I thought, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to click on it. But I don't click on stuff because anyways, I click on it and it's my dump truck financing. Oh no. And the due date was the 12th for the thing. And she kicks my trash, and the reason I do okay is because she kicks my trash on everything. Because if it was me, I'd be like, what are you talking about? I signed the papers. We've been driving that truck for 2 months. It's got to be taken care of. But she keeps me on the go. But in the morning, I have a hard time leaving the house when she's here. We don't even have to be talking to each other. We don't have to do anything. I just don't want to leave her. And Tug could vouch to this, but like I don't take my kids camping, my boys fishing or anything, because selfishly I don't want to be away from their mom. So why would I go to Vegas and spend 3 days with a bunch of other people when I could go hang out with her somewhere?
I mean, it just sounds like you need to bring her is what you probably
She would not see. That's not her cup of tea either.
Yeah, well, it pretty much sounds like we're never going to go.
No.
And that's just the reality of it for us. Yeah. I'm sure there's stuff to learn down there. I'm sure. Can it help you? Yeah. I'm not judging any of the guys that like that stuff and do it. I just know for me, I'm never going to put that time
My brain just doesn't work well enough that I would focus. Like I would walk through, and then I think I went to, not ConAg, but I think I went to World of Concrete with the guy one time. They went for 3 days, and I did go with him and his two boys.
I didn't know there was a difference. What's the difference?
ConAg is like all the equipment or something. World of Concrete, I think, is going on right now. I don't even know. That's how much I know.
I mean, it shows what I didn't even know there was a difference.
But I went down there and I can't focus either on anything. Like I'm done in a hurry. But they're going and looking at all the equipment. Then they're looking at the Bobcats. They're getting in the Bobcats. They're looking to see how much clearance there is. I don't care. Oh, this one's got this much horsepower. This one's got this much. Oh, let's go look at the jumping jacks, because this jumping jack is this wide and it's the same height as the motor and it'll do this. And oh, the tech, all the specs. My brain's done. I'm like, I'm out of here. I don't know.
Well, but you know, the world needs that to go around too.
No, and I'm telling you, there's other people that go there and they're Bob Dietz, all these guys that I have nothing but respect for that are awesome, but my brain doesn't work like them. That I guarantee they go and they get more out of it. But it's no different than me going to math class or English and everybody's like, oh, that was such a cool, the Pythagorean theory that we learned. Oh, isn't that awesome? I'll be like, what was that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, and for me, even with like the whole tilt rotator thing, I know these guys that have them.
Yeah.
They're awesome, and I think that they're making a difference, and they're probably paying for themselves. I get that, but conceptually, like in my mind, and I talk to my brothers about it all the time, I can't get over the fact that the tilt rotator to put one on a 320 or a 325 costs as much as a whole nother machine. I just can't.
Did you know we have a small tilt rotator on a machine?
You love it?
Yeah.
How come you don't have a bunch of them if you've got one of them?
Because that $80,000 that will buy something else, I would rather put into something else. That's my thing.
That's our thing.
I've
too.
actually told people, I have people call me, hey, I want to buy a tilt rotator. Okay, make a list of 20 things you need. Where's that tilt rotator on the list? I like right now, I would buy more pups for dump trucks.
Yeah.
Before I bought a tilt rotator. Right now, I would buy more Felco compaction wheels for track hose.
Well, the reality of it is that tilt rotator on a 320, 210 size machine costs, it's a new skid steer.
So here's what I say. If you're, and I'm not the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is you telling me not to buy GPS because you don't have it. Or this is me telling you how dumb a 340 Traco is because I don't have it. Oh, those 340, they're so dumb.
So sour grapes, man.
Same with the tilt rotator. Yeah, don't buy one of those. Those are so dumb.
Yeah.
You have one? No, but those are dumb. If you're a guy that does work by yourself, and you have like one Traco, and if you had a bunch of Tracos, but if you're having to get out and do stuff because you can reach around stuff like even doing your footing drain around a house, that tilt rotator is going to save you so much gravel. You can spin it around, dump it.
Absolutely.
Over the top awesome. But for me, I don't value enough that I have a bunch.
Well, I'm glad you said that because for me, where I'm at, I will do the 3D long before we ever do a tilt rotator. But
I would, if I had 20 things, I would put the 3D on the top and the tilt rotator would be on 20.
I'm similar because, but like you said, where I do know I'm not, I realize that the tilt rotators probably do pay for themselves. For me, it's not really a machine you can put anybody in my opinion. Maybe you can.
Every time we put a new guy on it, we broke something and needed to fix it.
So to that point, like you said, if I was a one-man show
where
I ran that track all day, every day, I would have a tilt rotator on it. No doubt about it.
Now, here is what's interesting, and it's probably because we're idiots. Ryan is the one that talked me into buying it one time. He's like, oh, well, you just do it. And then I went and bought one. So I was watching TikTok yesterday, and there's these guys doing a subdivision in North Carolina. Tug, and it's still not getting any warmer, but he challenged me to sit out here in the
Tugs
cold.
over there in a ball.
I'm gonna start.
I was wondering if he froze to death.
I'm gonna start taking my clothes off, Tug, like I'm in an ice bath. Anyways, this guy was running a dozer. He's running a Komatsu, and he's grading. And then there's like a great big huge 340, like a big Komatsu loading mud trucks, like big rock trucks. And it's got this little tiny bucket on it. And I just typed in there and I said, how big a bucket is that on the machine? He said, I don't know. It's a trenching bucket. And they were loading rock trucks with it and doing a big cut. And I said, do you guys not have another bucket for that? And he said, oh no, that's the only bucket the machine has. And I said, well, do you have a quick coupler on it? And he said, no, it doesn't have a quick coupler. They got like all these machines. And I'm like, holy crap, you guys don't, like, I will not buy a machine without a quick coupler.
Nope.
I will not buy a machine. Every machine we buy, we'll buy 2 or 3 buckets for it, different sizes, and a Felco compaction wheel. And that's just what we do. But the Incon, I don't know. If I had it on every machine, the problem is when the Incon breaks too, then that machine's down. Then what do I do?
Well, I mean, they claim you can take the whole thing off, I guess.
You can.
But even to get it to that point, you're spending. So there's the cost of the Incon, then there's the cost of that ability to lose the whole thing, from what I understand. That's what's funny about me. I don't know. I pick people's brains about it. I don't have facts.
What I do know is if it's $80,000, it's not on the top of my list.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things on the top.
Well, I'm just going to live by an ignorance is bliss thing, because I'm sure there's guys out there running these Incons with the grapples. And we set a lot of boulder walls. I know you guys don't like that stuff. Or were you into that again?
We're retired.
You're retired from
heck no.
I don't know
we don't ever want to stack another rock.
Even
wall.
working up in Park City, you're going to stay away from it on those houses?
Oh, I won't touch rock.
I see. Well, we do for whatever reason. But that's the way
Desperation.
I was raised too. I think
well,
so.
you might be doing rock so you can get the contract that you're doing.
Maybe, yeah, because I mean we've got one project where the boulder retaining side of it's $800,000 of it.
Yeah, here's the deal. I don't have anybody working for me that I want to make go stack rock and train to stack rock.
Makes sense.
Again.
Well, and for me, why ignorance is bliss is I know if I had a tilt rotator and a grapple and I was setting walls, I'd love it.
Yeah.
But because I've never used it and I'm just the old thumb in a bucket way, I don't know any better.
But you guys do enough rock. You should be doing a tilt rotator.
I know. We probably should.
But see, if you're like me, my mindset though is I'm always wanting to buy another machine.
See, and to me, a new machine's more valuable than the tilt rotator. Maybe I stand to change my mind. I do a lot.
But that might be how big your company's growing or what you're trying to do too. And I think if you're trying to grow a company, even like I talked to W.W. Clyde and some of these big companies, they don't have any tilt rotators. And so I think it's more a specialty thing.
Yeah.
But again, we have to be smart enough to say, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And the same is with Con Expo. Like, we're a bunch of idiots. Like, if you wanted to get to know people and market, and then like here, let me tell you how dumb you are. You're at Devin Dyer's place talking to Devin Dyer about business. If you actually wanted your business to grow and become something, you would be at Con Expo talking to people that had a successful business. You would be on a plane by yourself going down there to talk to Bob Dietz and these other guys that are building awesome businesses.
You know, and there's probably truth to that.
I'm just smart enough to know I'm dumb about that. I'm putting that out there when everybody's like, oh, that turd. No, I know.
Yeah, and I'm similar. Because I know if I went to Con Expo, I would probably glean a lot from it.
Yeah, you'd probably increase your business by 20% or something.
But am I stubborn and I'm not going to take 3 days of my time to go do it?
Well,
also probably.
Well, my other joke is while you guys are down there at Con Expo, I'm up here stealing your jobs and making money.
There you go. Yeah, that's true.
Instead of learning how to make $100, I'm here making that $10. You're down there learning. This is a good story. I don't know if you've ever heard this story, and this is how I am. This is where I'm dumb. So once upon a time, there was these turkeys, and they would all go to a convention once a year, and they would learn new things. And this one turkey had a new way to shuck corn quicker, so the turkey showed everybody. Everybody's also amazed by it. The other turkey showed him something else, maybe how to get worms out of the ground. And then this one turkey showed him this really awesome thing. And he taught everybody how to fly. So everybody spent the whole rest of the day in the turkey convention just flying around. And then when it was over, they all walked home. And I'm the turkey that walks home.
That makes sense.
So Con Expos, I'm dumb enough I would go there and I would learn all this new stuff. And it's like me learning books or reading books. Like, I have a lot of knowledge. I just have to force myself to do it. And then I don't do it. And so it's easier just not to go down there and then have somebody hold me accountable. Hey, well, did you do what we learned? We showed you how to increase your business. It was too much work, so I didn't do it.
Yeah, well, you know, and I always like to say I reserve the right to change my mind.
Yeah.
And if I go and I love it, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
If I get an NCon and I love it, I wouldn't be surprised. So I know what I know, and I don't know what I don't know. So.
Well, Jared, who works with me, would always make fun of Ryan. He'd be like, "Oh, Mr. NCon." After we bought that machine with the NCon, Jared would never let anybody use it because he always had it.
How interesting, huh?
Yeah, and he'll tell you, he's like, "Yeah, I'm an idiot." Yeah. And I'm an idiot with all of it. You should go to Con Expo and learn some stuff.
Well, maybe for me, I'm not going to go to Con Expo and I'm not going to buy NCons because then I'll have a problem and I'll be going every year. So.
Yeah, if I go to Con Expo, which me and Tug, we might go, but it'll be for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And nobody will know that I'm there, and I'll just walk around and look at some stuff because
then you'll drive home.
I don't want somebody to come talk me into buying something I don't need.
Oh, I'm so that when I walk into a store and a salesperson approaches me, I almost it's such a turnoff for me to keep shopping. And so I don't like being pressured into buying stuff.
So every time we buy equipment from Jim Brown, he says we're going to send a trainer out there. I'm like, nope, you're not. when I buy my truck, this new truck that I just bought, I found it. The guy's like, do you want to test drive it? Nope. I don't ever test drive any trucks. I don't ever test drive equipment. I told the kid, I said, have all my paperwork ready. When I used to buy trucks, they would just bring them and deliver them to my house.
Yeah.
And I'd meet the salesman and I'd sign the paperwork on the hood and they'd go away. But that's just how I am. I don't want to go to lunch. I don't want you to take me to lunch. Don't give me any hats. Don't give me anything. Just leave me alone.
Yeah. It's
I'm
funny.
defective.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's a good way to be.
Yeah. So that was your last question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If we were going to keep going, we'd have to do part 2 a different time. So
don't be a sis. You got to be you got basketball probably.
I don't have basketball.
Did you have a
tonight.
basketball game? What did you miss?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, not just dinner so far.
Okay.
Yeah, but I told my wife, I don't know what time I'm going to be home.
Get him a cookie.
I told her, I'm like, we're going to sit down, we're going to talk about Tracos, and
Yeah.
and that could just go on for hours.
Yeah.
Who knows? So
I had one podcast. Do you ever remember the podcast that was a 4-hour podcast
I
that I
do.
had?
Yeah, I remember.
That was
one.
good. And what was fun when we did podcasts with Marcus, he would hold up a trash can like at 5 minutes to the hour. And then he would keep telling you. And then in an hour, he shut it down. It was over.
He just
Yeah. And we were just getting warmed up.
Yeah, I mean, I'd talk about Tracos and stuff all day if you let
Yeah.
me. So
Here's my parting thing. Everybody should go to ConExpo. I just am not good at doing things that I should do. It's kind of like going to the doctor and getting my heart checked. I just would.
Yeah.
I'd rather just not know what I don't know.
yeah, I'm similar. So we'll maybe fix that one day.
Are we done, Tug? I gotta play the outgoing music.
Let's hear it.
This is a band that Jared played for.
Well, you know,
on our test.
if there's one thing I know about you is that there's no way to end a D Dyer show. So
No,
let's
we just
just click
Tug,
play.
when it's done, you just shut it off or whatever because there's no goodbye or none of
That's
that.
fine
Let me
with
see
me.
what we got here. Let me see. Oh, that's it.
What you say and what you mean, it can be two different things tonight.
Yeah, you can go home now.
You should have just grabbed some hand warmers.
Yeah.